I have to pull the thing up. So it's actually funny. Luke is like completely independent of this. Luke is getting back into Splatoon,
Huh.
which is just weird, but
Your
also
preparation
perfect.
was vindicated all along.
He still refuses to play Rainmaker though. I'm like, I mean, just at some point you're just gonna have to give it a try. So how have you been?
Been a bit tired this week. The first like half to the middle of this week was just tiring in general.
Are you getting your 8 hours?
Oh, it's not as yes, but it's not that mainly. It's like oh, work was just hectic this week.
Mentally tiring.
Yeah, just a lot of shit's not working. Things that we've been told we have to use because the client wants them are like breaking, and we have to take up fixing them now. And it's kind of like why we didn't need this. We still don't need it really, and yet here we are. I had to end Friday 40 minutes after, I just stated like sheer stubborn. I was like, this has to work. I know it should work because it did work once, and then it just stopped working, and then I was like, oh, our network's been fluttering all day, so your thing probably does work, just not right now. It's like, oh, good, great, thanks.
Just wait. Like, what are you, impatient? Okay, that's fine.
I'm about to go out on Monday and explain to the other engineer I'm working on this bit with, saying, oh, the fucking thing wouldn't work, so the network was on the blink, and... Been on this job a year, and I already understand everyone who's ever complained about software engineering.
Oh, really? I've had, like, no work. So,
Lucky you.
it's actually pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
I'm spending money, you know?
Yeah.
I find it very hard to not spend money.
Oh well, that doesn't fucking kill me. What
It's
are
a
you
big
spending
problem.
money on?
Just, like, anything that seems like I want it, or need it, or anything, like... It's like, oh, like I tweeted about it. There's like the Hat in Time
Oh
vinyl
yeah.
soundtrack that came out of nowhere. It's like $30, and I'm like, like it comes with that good art, and I love the music in the game. And really, what it comes down to is I want to show how much I love the game. So owning it will help me with that. But
You don't have a record
just kind
player.
of yeah, I don't have a record player, and it only has like it seems like 15 songs, and they aren't even all bangers. So, like, even if I do, like, my friend has one, like a record player, like, but we only go over his house for like once a week, and what are the odds that he's actually gonna play the music instead of his crappy like rap? So. Just like you don't need it. It's just gonna sit there
Does he have
and
rap
like
on vinyl?
yeah.
That's arcane.
I don't know. You never know with these people.
That's weird. But yeah, okay.
And like, God bless Luke. He tries to, give me opportunities to say how much I don't like it, but then it doesn't listen. Friend Jake does not
I mean, to
listen.
be fair, it is his house.
It is his house, but I'd rather just listen to Smash. You know?
But some people listen to actual music.
I mean, I think about it a lot, but like, do you think like people who don't really know anything about video games are just kind of aware that video game music is now like, orchestrated and done with actual instruments instead of bleeps and bloops?
No, they probably don't care. They're probably not even aware that video games have music. Let's be real.
I mean, yeah, Pac-Man didn't really have music. Like, Luke has his coworkers over, and it's like they play Smash or whatever, but they never played Smash before, or like rarely play video games.
So it's just him destroying them for However long.
He tries to be, you know, merciful, but I have to imagine it doesn't work out. But I'm always curious, like, have you seen Smash's roster? One thing I always think about is, like, there's so many characters. Someone who hasn't played video games before, like, how do you think they would choose a character? Do you think they would, like,
What they like the
go
look
based
of.
on appearance?
Yeah, it's either like based on appearance or like anything you might vaguely know through cultural osmosis. So like, they'll play Mario, or they'll play
Yeah.
Pikachu.
It's like, I completely forgot about Pikachu. I was asking Luke, do you think he knows who Super Mario is? He's like, I'm pretty sure he knows who Mario is. I'm like, do you think he knows who Pac-Man is? Do you think that's beyond his time?
No,
Because it's like,
Pac-Man's still on though.
looks like he's 19 years old. And he always calls him a kid, and I'm like, Luke, 19 years old, like, isn't a kid.
Kinda is though.
See, but that, so that he's telling me about, like, you know, how like, relative to us, he's just so inexperienced and stuff like that. I'm like, I get it. Like, you know, it's like how when you were in second grade and you thought that the third graders were like the oldest kids in the world, and then you think about third graders
never
now.
thought that because in my school at least there were like we saw like every year above us. So it'd be like, you know, like there's the legendary primary sevens. They're a mighty 11 years old. When I was
Yeah, I
like
guess
5.
the school I came from was kind of a private school where like only really went up to 6th grade.
Okay.
And that was like, you know, that was beyond conception for me as a kid. Yeah, so I'm like, well, you know, if he's really a kid, do you think he knows who any of these characters are? But just like, it makes me wonder, like, what's the pick rate for characters when like people don't know any of them? Like,
I feel like Pokemon and Mario have like, pretty much the highest by far.
I mean, but like, let's say they don't even know who Mario or Pokemon are. Like, Mario probably has priority because he's the first character on the list. But
Yeah.
like, you think people go, oh, I like apes, I'm gonna pick Donkey Kong. Or, oh,
I mean, they
like
might go like,
crocodiles."
oh, he's got a funny monkey smile.
And
And they
like,
don't know
go
that
from
he's like
there.
a rampaging corporate capitalist thing to fucking consumer tie or whatever.
I guess like it's kind of the same thing with like fighting games, huh? Like I could probably apply that to a lot of fighting games. Well,
Yeah.
not so much anymore, but like they were playing original Guilty Gear and I didn't really recognize half the characters, and there was like this old dude with a giant sword, and I'm like immediately drawn to him.
I mean, that's a
I'm
smart
pretty sure.
move.
You know, I don't even want to really say it with you around.
Go for it.
I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he's like bottom tier, like the worst character in the game. I don't know which game, but
A man's reading
Yeah,
fucking
he's-
Guilty Gear tier reasonings and doesn't even play other fighting games.
I'm always curious about the tier lists, even though I shouldn't be. Like, did I ever tell you like we're playing like a board game? It's called Zia.
You did not
it's like
know.
It's like a space kind of game where you kind of randomly arrange the galaxies. So they're like planets, and you can do shopping
Yeah.
and stuff. And your ships each have individual abilities.
Yeah.
So it was like they were trying to explain the game to me, and they're like, "What ship do you want?" And I'm like, "Can I look up a tier list?" They're like, do not look up a tier list. I don't even know if that exists."
Video games have ruined you.
But like, there has to be a tier list, right? There's an NBA
Not
Jam tier list.
necessarily. NBA Jam's a video game. You know?
It's so funny that NBA Jam has a tier list. Like, they're actually just
People are very
that are
competitive at
better.
NBA Jam as far as I know.
I wish NBA Jam was on like Switch Online.
Speaking of,
I
in the
can't
cinema
really
games,
emulate it.
rumor goes, Hammer was telling me about this during your stream last night. Over in like fucking whispers. Apparently, like a Canadian retailer leaked Street Fighter V for Switch. So there you go. Nice time.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too interested in Street Fighter.
It's just funny because you keep trying to turn Smash into Street Fighter.
What does that even mean?
No items, 1v1s only.
That's like any fighting game, though.
Street Fighter is the fighting game.
I
though.
know it's
the
the
origin
fighting
point.
game. That's why I'm not too interested. It's for normies.
Smash
and it's
is.
not anime enough for me.
Smash is for normies. What are you on about?
No, Smash is for children.
Are you saying children aren't normal?
No, I mean, have you been around them?
Tragically, yes.
They're all over there, but I'm not going over there. I mean, I'm thinking like, I feel like it's different with fighting games. At least fighting games I'm like not too familiar with because I don't like anime characters, and like for anime characters you kind of have your type, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
White hair,
like
red
short
eyes.
hair, magical girl kind of aesthetic going
White
on.
hair, red eyes, twin tails. Yep.
Yeah, but then Smash is like an ape, a crocodile, the squid children. Oh jeez.
I mean, that's easy enough for me, because for me then it's just like, okay, who like looks like fucking rad and has like, you know, a covered face and other shit, and it's like, oh, zombies, right.
Normal ass man, Master Chief from Halo. This is, I guess, Space Marine by that point.
I would play Master Chief from Halo. So if nothing else, the Spartans in Halo actually have fucking rad designs. Giant, like, Space Marine Hulk beasts fully covered in armor with, like, rad looking helmet visors. Oh, fuck me then. I tried to trigger Splasher and was killed on the exact frame I used it. Just instantaneously.
Is it worth it? I don't think so. I waited for like 10 seconds to revive the person on the other side of the map when I could have just been getting eggs and then maybe tossed a grenade. Okay, there's that. How's your anti-streaming sentiment going?
In what sense?
Like you said, I'm gonna stop streaming so I can play games.
Or else I was going to reduce the amount of streams. And it's been going pretty well in that I spent pretty much 12 hours straight playing Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind yesterday.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about that.
Yeah.
Without spoilers, even though I think I spoiled everything about Kingdom Hearts at some point in my life.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, without context, you won't fucking know. You just will not fucking understand what it actually means.
Like, in a generalization, what does it do? Like the game wrapped everything, well, most stuff up, right?
It fills in a few little gaps of things you could, like things in the original game you could just take as read. It actually provides and offers explanations for, as it also in the process of setting up like the foundation for the next major story arc across the games. So like we have done the story arc we're on now is like the Xehanort story arc. Like, he's the big bad guy across every single game to this point. He was beaten in 3. And 3 Remind is basically like setting up the plot foundation for the games going forward, essentially. Like 3's like secret ending and shit like sort of sets that up, and this like gives you some stuff. This like gives actual like concrete foundation and like a mystery to go off of and all.
So it's not just Donald, Goofy, and Pluto running into the sunset.
No, it actually ends kind of like it actually ends kind of sadly in a sense.
I'm like, what kind of fucking ending is that, honestly?
I mean, it's and the adventure continues ending. What do you think?
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything. But okay, that's interesting. I was like, what could they even do when they announced the DLC? I'm like, what could they even do? At this point, like, just work on the game, which I guess they're doing. Like,
They released with this a big free update that includes like special difficulty modifier stuff. Like if you want to make the game easier and like kill enemies one hit, you can. If you want to make the game harder and make enemies kill you in one hit, you can. And of course, like in-game rewards and shit for pulling off like highest difficulty run where you die in one hit. You can essentially turn the game into like Devil May Cry, like heaven or hell, like everything, including you, dies in one hit mode. Pretty sick. They also added in like some, like Keyblades that were like, or series like standbys that were missing from base 3 because they didn't have really a place in the game, and they made them as like rewards for doing stuff. Like one's really easy to get as Oathkeeper, the other one is Oblivion, which requires you to beat the game on the highest difficulty.
What about the Christmas one?
There's no Christmas one in Kingdom Hearts 3.
There was one though, right?
I mean, the closest thing you get there is in like the other games, yeah. The Nightmare
So,
Before
like, this
Christmas
is
ones.
Halloween Town.
Yeah. But
They
you
didn't
know,
put that in.
no. The closest thing you got is Frozen.
Hmm.
There is a Keyblade in there you would absolutely 100% love because it's exactly your aesthetic shit.
Does it have Christmas lights wrapped around
No,
it?
but it is based off of like old 1920s and 30s cartoons.
Oh. Oh yeah, isn't there a?
Yeah, it's that sort of one in Kingdom Hearts World 2, but in 3 has its own, which is different. Which is gotten by doing optional shit, and it's pretty nice. It's also really strong. It's actually like one of the better, pretty much the best before like Oathkeeper got added. The best magic Keyblade outside of the Ultimate Weapon, which is just the best Keyblade in general.
So like I think I read a headline that's like Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be a lot sooner than you think.
Yes, Nomura said that like there. He said like in addition to like a new mobile game being announced, they're also going to the next major Kingdom Hearts game is going to be. He said there was 2 in development. He said the next major one will be closer than you think.
Well, I mean, after Kingdom Hearts 3, that could be any amount of time.
Well, that's the thing. Like people sass, but the main thing is like Square Enix all this time has just been like trying to put themselves back together after they completely fucked up all of the development pipelines and shit with Final Fantasy 13. An abominable mess that basically ruined Square Enix for the better part of a decade now. Like, the reason why stuff like Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 and all takes for fucking forever is because they're still putting their shit back together and getting stuff organized from the fucking mess that was Final Fantasy 13.
You make it sound like it was actually a bomb that went off in their office.
Honestly,
and then caused a fire that destroyed all.
Functionally, it might as well have been because it had it had its own like they made for it. They were like, oh, before Final Fantasy 15, Square Enix made all their own in-house engines and shit, and they were doing that for Final Fantasy 13. That was called the Crystal Tools engine. That engine was a fucking nightmare. Not helped by the fact that the PS3 was a fucking nightmare to develop for. It was made for that. That engine was a fucking nightmare. It was extremely expensive. They could barely use it for anything. Like, they had to put so many people, so much time, and so much money on Final Fantasy 13 that it wrecked everything. And then they kept trying to do the we want to make our own engine shit for a while after that in the 13 sequels and shit. And it just ruined everything. Like, they had too many people working on too many things. Like, fucking Final Fantasy 14 came out, collapsed terribly because it was a badly made game. So they had to remake that, all the rest of it. A big part of why Final Fantasy 15 and so on took so long to develop was because they were indecisive of what engine to use. And eventually, like, they shifted all their stuff now to Unreal Engine 4. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, Dragon Quest 11, Final Fantasy 7 Remake is on Unreal Engine 4. Stuff like that.
What about the next Mario game?
They don't make Mario Quest.
Mario in Unreal Engine. That's all literally that's all I think about when I think of Unreal. Like I know it's an amazing engine. It's not, worth being shitty about. But
I mean, it's really good because like when you think about it, like fucking the recent Guilty Gears and like Arc System games are all Unreal Engine, and like look how they look compared to like fucking Fortnite and shit. It's a very flexible, very powerful engine.
I can't help but like initially think about it as like something.
Yeah, that thing with like the hideous, ugly Mario texture face in it. This is what Zelda would look like in Unreal Engine, and it's just loads of prefabbed, shitty assets. They're like, this looks super realistic. It's like, no, it doesn't, you fucking loser. Remind is really, really good. Like it adds like even more like incredible story shit that I love because I eat all it up. Sets up like a lot of like really interesting stuff for like the next major game, like the next arc across the series. And it's also basically a big pile of like very difficult boss fights, which are great up until like the optional secret one, which is the single hardest fight in the series and also actually bullshit. It just piles on like so many fucking gimmicks and shit. It's just like, oh Christ, like how does anyone do this? And I'm playing on normal. I don't even want to know, or people playing on like critical will even get through the bosses before this. Never mind how they'll do with this thing. This thing killed me in 5 seconds on my first attempt. Like, it just fucking, like, he just opened, did a big massive laser attack that stun locked me from full into nothing, and that was it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Sounds like you'll love High Dragon Trials in Dragalia then.
If that's the sort of thing that is, I'm just never doing that. Just never happening.
As an aside, they're making it easier. I don't know if you saw the update thing, but like they're adding revives. They're adding revives and stuff, and I'm like, ooh. Yeah, the real big question is it true that KHIII actually does things now?
Yep.
It's been literally, what, like 20 games and she's done literally nothing until now?
It's been like 8 games.
Is it only 8?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts isn't actually all that big a series, really. People exaggerate tons about that series. What?
Including spin-offs?
I mean, you include spin-offs, it only goes to like 12.
That was close.
Like, in terms of like mainline games, including 3, there's only 8 games to play for the whole story. And they're not over, as RPGs go, they're also not very long. Like, you know. Your average playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 3 can be anywhere from like, not Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts in general will be anywhere from like 9 to like 16 hours if you're just doing main story shit. But yes, no, she's been shit on by the series forever. Has been denied the ability to do everything forever, even in Kingdom Hearts 3, where she finally got a keyblade and just ended up doing nothing. It's like great. And then Remind lets her actually do things, gives her a keyblade and makes her do incredible things with it. She fucking steps to the major boss and just has him like fucking like dancing and trying not to get hit, and she just fucking leaps at him. It's fucking great. She's been using that thing a week and she's already like better than most of them.
So you don't like play as her or anything?
No, you do. It gives at several points. It gives you the opportunity in boss fights to pick either Sora or one of the other characters present, and that's the case for her. And she plays really well, like actually really well.
Okay, I'm gonna like stop texting.
She has like, for instance, her opening attack at the start of her combo. If she's not in like the in front of stuff, she will just chuck her keyblade and just warp across the entire map to hit whatever she's targeting. Like, she's insane. She will just hit things from across arenas and just warp straight to them, which would be an absolute godsend if Sora could do that.
You sure that's a programming error?
No, it's very much clearly intentional. Because a lot of her attacks are actually based around just suddenly like, you know, turning into light and teleporting basically.
Only Zelda can do that.
Hello, Mamley. Yes, it's the weekly fish murdering podcast.
More or less.
But yeah, Remind is really good. And I'm just sitting here just, you know, like, shouting what over and over again and just wondering about the implications of where this is going to go next. Yes, I'm really enjoying the new Kingdom Hearts DLC. I will probably stream it at some point just to complete the set on the channel, but I'll be down the line a bit. What have you played this week, Chris?
Other than hashtag mobile gaming, which, as an aside, I still don't have a second shotgun. It's been over a week.
What chapter are you in? Because I've told you already, if you're trying to get it for the Chapter 5 boss, the Chapter 5 boss will murder your shotguns. You do not fight that boss with a shotgun.
No, I beat that.
Okay, good.
I'm in like 6.
The same thing still applies with Chapter 6, by the way.
5, emergency, and then like 0, 4. I'm all over the place in that game, just trying to find combat to do.
I mean, if you got 0-2 done, 0-2 is like a good place to grind both EXP and cores, if you're ever just stuck for something to do.
Yeah, that game isn't very grinding friendly, so...
I would argue completely the opposite. It's just very brainless. Once you just run them into enemies and that's it.
can't just start a mission and then just be like, all right, do your thing. Like you have to attend to it.
Really?
Like I don't
like you set them a path and then that's it.
Yeah, that's attending to it more than I would like. You have to deploy them, and you have to move the one, and then you have to deploy the other one, and then you have to set the path for both of them, and make sure you don't select the character instead of moving them. And also, if you happen, like a part of your finger happens to graze the screen, suddenly you're down like 10 moves because your character backtracks all the way to where you touched, and then you can't really undo it. You have to redo the whole thing again, and I'm just like, okay, I hate this. Auto battle takes like
yes, and Chris is complaining about having to play the game.
Yes, but like when you're actually strategizing,
it's incredibly funny.
Like,
yes,
like when it's a new mission, then it's engaging. But then when it's just grinding, do you really want to sit there and just do it? No, not really.
I mean, you don't have to. You can just automate it. And
like I said, it's not.
It takes like maybe 20 seconds.
And then you have to look back at it every 3 minutes or whatever. Or not 3 minutes, every like minute.
For what?
To start the process again.
There's way more than a minute.
You can't just say, all right, do this, and then I'm going to go do something else, and then...
you just have to check it like
waste
every
time doing it.
10 minutes or whatever the fuck, because it takes much closer to that than a minute.
Either way, there's that, and then for my streams, I haven't like done a solo stream like consistently in like 2 months. I think
everyone just kind of stopped you and said play our game instead in January.
Not really. It was just like, yeah, I'll do it. I didn't even really realize, and it's kind of funny. Like, no offense, but like, it doesn't really feel like I stream when I stream with other people, if that makes sense. Like, I guess just because it's so, like, natural in a way. Like, okay. I'm not saying, all right, now I'm going to stream. It's like, all right, I scheduled this stream with someone and I'm doing it, Something like that. So they don't really feel like streams. And then a lot of the time it's like, well, it is progressing through games, isn't it? Like River City Girls and Final Fantasy. But
yeah.
It doesn't feel like it in a way. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like, solo streams are just an entirely different thing for me. So, and sometimes it's just good to talk about the game.
Yeah.
And not like with someone else, Once again, no offense or anything. It's like an entirely different kind of mode that I go in. And I think that's like probably my strongest suit. My ability to talk about a game for 5 hours straight and not really like run out of things to say and have to talk about like my day or something, I think is ridiculous but also satisfying to me. And you only really get that in solo streams. Although that's probably not true, but that's what it feels like. So, yeah, I was playing CTR because the Christmas event. I'm like, I wanted to do this anyway, but I might as well start now because the Christmas event. That ended. So I was kind of in this weird spot where it's like, well, CTR isn't really progressing through something, right? Like,
I mean, it is.
I'm already familiar with it. It's like, it's different.
It has a single player mode to progress through, doesn't it?
It does, but like, you aren't playing CTR to play the single player mode. Like, you're playing CTR to, play online and with friends and, just a kind of consistent thing to race, maybe learn it, I'll definitely learn CTR specifically. But, like, the thing was, like, I don't want to sit down and, like, learn CTR, Like, I have a bunch of other games I want to get to. So that's why I was kind of like, should I like just kind of forgo it? And people were like, no, it's fun to watch. I'm like, it's fun to play. Even when you suck at it, like, if you watch my stream, I was having a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the ones who voted for you to continue because I was like, yeah, just like play it. Don't discourage yourself into thinking no one wants to watch it.
Well, no, that wasn't the problem. It was more like, is it worth my time? You know, like
I
at
feel
some
like
point
that's a
I
question
wanna.
purely for you to answer, surely.
Well, that's the thing. But like, if people enjoyed watching it, that's like kind of a part of stream. Like Carl almost definitely didn't want to play CTR, but I kept pestering him to do it because I enjoyed watching it, and it's just a fun game to watch in general. So I figured a lot of other people were like that. Like if Carl was just like, "All right, I'm gonna give up on CTR," I would have like been sad. I didn't want other people to feel that way. So as I do with a lot of things with my stream, it seems I put it up on a poll on Twitter and then retweeted it like 5 times.
I am my own man and pick all my own games for myself based on my own fucking names.
Oh no!
You wanna watch like fucking 5 streams of hard way so you can suck my dick.
It was more like, like I could have gone either way. It's like I keep saying, CTR is fun. It's just, I feel like in order to get anything out of it, I have to grind it out. Like it's not even like it's something you have to keep coming back to. It's not like, learning a language per se. Like, well, it kind of is. Like, you have to really sit down, buckle down, and learn it. And then probably after a point, like, once you're familiar enough with it, then you'll be able to just kind of remember things naturally. Like, I haven't played Mario Kart 8 since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out. But if I pulled that game up, then I'd probably still remember the turns. Like, I'd have to kind of get used to toe controls again, but I probably still remember all the turns and shortcuts and stuff.
It'd be like the people who are reminded that like, Street Fighter V exists, so they refuse to go past Street Fighter 4.
I mean, I wonder how dead Mario Kart 8 is. I have to fix my
probably
game
completely.
Like the triggers, which are item and drift, the 2 most used buttons in Mario Kart, other than A, are gummed up. So
Manly notes that Crash Team Racing seemed fun to watch during the few minutes you could catch. So there you go.
Yeah, that's like something like at some point I would love to do it, but it's kind of like I'd like to get good at Smash as well. I'd like to get good at Splatoon. It's probably never going to happen though, because it just takes so much time, and I value kind of playing new games more than getting good at other ones.
Everyone's dead. He's in the fucking moon.
Oh, there we go.
He's a god.
Now I'm finally getting to bug Fables, and so far it's interesting.
It is comically Paper Mario.
Yeah, it is super Paper Mario, but not super Paper Mario.
Like, down to some enemies just being the exact animation of like their Paper Mario counterparts, like the seedlings.
Yeah, like the parrot and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, that's so blatant, I can't help but laugh.
It's like,
and I respect
it. It kind of lacks a polish as well, I feel. Like, it feels very much like an indie game,
I mean, yeah, it's always the thing with, like, especially ones that are trying to eat Nintendo stuff, is that there's a lot of really subtle little things Nintendo does and has in their stuff you don't actually realize until, like, you really think about it.
Yeah. And, like, the music, doesn't seem too high quality. Like, that's another kind of thing.
I haven't noticed, though.
Not like it's that bad. Like, really what matters is the gameplay, which is solid because, Paper Mario and has its own unique things. And writing, which there's a lot of writing, just a lot of flavor text, so much flavor text. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it is an RPG.
Yeah, but, like, more than I would have expected, that's for sure. Like, that, you can tattle every single room, and every character has some comment about it, which, like, Goombario also did, but, like, every character commenting about it is interesting, and, like, each kind of big area has its own, or, like, I don't know what you would call them, like, point of interest has their own, like, few paragraphs written about them. Catalog, recipe log, items have flavor text as well. It's just wild, So that's definitely a strong suit of the game. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just me having to get used to it and grappling with the Xbox controller since I've been so used to using the Switch and like PS4 controllers. I think is the PS4 controller button layout the same? It's always hard for me to tell.
I mean, how do you mean? Because it is like the same 4 buttons and the same 4 spots, yeah.
Yeah, okay. A is like on the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think it's like I think it doesn't bother me on the DualShock so much because
Because it's like the PlayStation one is basically an overt mirror of Nintendo's, just with different symbols.
is it?
Yeah, like
Wait, is A on the bottom on the PlayStation one? Like confirmed?
Yeah, yeah, that is on the bottom. Yeah, I forgot. Like no, the Nintendo's like B counts on the bottom. Isn't it?
Yeah, Nintendo's B is on the bottom. So like, but like I think it's screwing me up on the Xbox one so much because it's A and B, and not so much the DualShock one.
Yeah.
Because it's circle and X. But if you use the Japanese symbols that make more sense than it is Nintendo's, so it's like okay, mess up the controller.
I don't know if it necessarily makes more sense because like at least for me it's always been like blue good, red bad, so red's cancel. The circle.
Yeah, but
red.
X correct, or sorry, O correct, X wrong.
The thing is like over here we don't really do O correct really. Like usually with like the X you'll be like, oh, I'm ticking a box for X means yes.
I can see that, like, but then don't usually use a check mark instead, and then like X is kind of.
I've actually nah, like it depends, but like through school you usually did X's a lot more than it ticked anything.
Interesting.
Like forms I would feel like I would use like even then it's like that would be like a mix between like tick or X. Like government forms are always like X this box or whatever.
I'm gonna be real with you. I never really thought about the colors of the buttons on the PlayStation controller because most of it is black. Like it's not like
kind
the
of why it
Nintendo
stands out to
controller,
me, honestly.
the Xbox one, where it's like the whole button is green.
Yeah.
It's like in Bug Fables. There's that move where you have to press the correct button, and I just look for the color, not so much the actual button itself. Let's see. Triangle's green. I'm like almost certain about that one. And then
Triangle is green.
square is purple.
Pink.
Pink. For some people, that's interchangeable, isn't it?
Probably.
I think Luke's a bit purple and pink colorblind. Which is funny because he likes both of them a whole lot, so it doesn't really matter to him, huh?
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I don't want to say what I want to stream next because that has gotten me in some trouble.
How's it gotten you
On my
in
own.
trouble?
Like, it's not so much like I'm in trouble with someone, more so I'm in trouble with myself.
Okay.
Because then I'm like, I don't really actually want to do that next. I like thought of something I want to do instead. It's like, who really cares? But I do. Like, I'm not a famous streamer.
It's your obsessive thing, and
yeah, who will get it like warded over them. Like, oh, you said you were gonna play this, but you aren't. Like, and then
like, anyone who does that is just like, well, you could also just suck my dick constantly.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop them from bothering you. So
I mean,
that's not a problem with me. So it's more just a self kind of thing. But I'm almost certain, and for Gavin's benefit, really, that after Bug Fables, I'm gonna start 3 Houses because that is like prevalent everywhere, and I'm just like actually excited to play it.
Just fuck me over, why don't you?
Why don't you just play it, huh?
What?
Why don't you just play it?
You're supposed to play the Star Dragon Ball Z Kakarot?
That's not as important.
I find that debatable.
Like, do you ever just like you have a backlog? Do you ever just think which one of these new games is more important to play?
No, unless it's like it has like if it's a series I like and I've been like staggering on it for a bit and there's like a new sequel thing coming out that really excites me, then yes, I don't give a shit what people are talking about.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference, right?
Yeah, because
Like I haven't
if everyone's talking like, oh shit, I'm playing like fucking Fire Emblem like right now, it's kind of like I don't really care.
Like I haven't really experienced excitement for a game since I was a kid. I think like The last big one I can think of is Galaxy 2. I was hype as hell for Galaxy 2, but that was in like 2009, right?
Why were you not hyped for Odyssey?
Well, maybe Odyssey was. Was I hyped for it? Like,
I don't know. Like that's what I'm wondering. Like, were you not
that,
hyped for it?
like I feel like that's something that I lost after childhood. Like the ability to be like extra hyped for, like, I cannot wait to play this game. Like, it needs to be in my hands. I'm gonna play it immediately.
It's funny because as time goes on, I have like, and I have like escaped my more like cynical asshole teenage years. I've just been getting more openly and happily excited about things, especially recently. Like, all the games are doing everything I want. It's fucking great. Like, all the anime is fantastic. All the movies are fucking great. Everything's coming out. Like, I'm just happy and hyped about a lot of things.
It's like it's not really shame or anything for me.
I would hope
It's just, I have to wonder, like, why not, Like, do you think, I think it might be because I'm so aware of my backlog now. Like, I want to get games done.
I feel like that
More
approach
so
can
than-
hurt as well, like, because that sometimes it'll seem like you're just doing it out of the obligation to just like tick out like a checklist, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of it, but at the same time, I'm, like, the games on my to-do list are games that I do want to play. Like, it seems like something I'll enjoy or something I want to experience.
But it's also kind of the thing where, like, I wonder like how well like some of them are actually suited to the stream environment, or at least the way you run your stream. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you have a concern to move on quickly, or like not like linger or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, a stream could ruin it.
That's why I'm saying, like, for instance, VA11, don't play that on the stream. Like, you just play that yourself.
Yeah, that's like a lot of reading. That's why I'm like VNs. Like, but I did 3 VNs, I think, before, either on YouTube or stream, and I'm not happy with any of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, visual novels are not a stream.
Well, I quite enjoyed like my own stream of VA11, but that's in part because like of the way I run it, versus like, come in and talk whatever any old bullshit you want, maybe take it in the game as while you're there. It, like, VA11 being just like, a company thing doing its own little thing was great, because I could focus on it and, just step aside and talk about shit while just also passively absorbing it. I just, crawled along at it. Whereas, I feel it, cause like, I guess like what I'm saying is I think you play it more for like, having played it rather than just like, spend like an insane amount of time just doing whatever the hell you want in it, if you know what I mean? I don't know how to really word
I mean,
here.
that's kind of partially it. Like, I mean, CTR is a pretty good example, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, sitting down and doing the time trials because I want to get to other things.
Yeah,
but I think
basically exactly that, actually.
Like, that's partially just like from me being so stagnant, Like, it is satisfying to look back on a year and be like, oh, I streamed this, Which is pretty much exactly your point, right? But
yeah,
like, I don't think I've really not enjoyed streaming any of those games since like Nier, which was a long while ago.
It is kind of like, you probably quite enjoy playing, but I kind of wonder, like, would you have gotten more out of this or that by not doing it that way, see if you know what I mean?
I mean, I haven't felt that way since Nier, I think. So far, so good.
Also, man, you didn't even read it out loud, you lazy bum. How dare you? I would not do that. No harm to you, but that stuff drives me mad.
What, reading everything out in the game?
I can't watch Northern Man play half the things, so he starts reading every single thing out. I'm just like, oh my god, stop.
I mean, that's what I'm wondering with like Bug Fables, because I'm gonna be honest, it does kind of seem abnormal, but at the same time, I think about other games, like, Luke was playing Super Paper Mario, and I felt like I could really get into reading that with the inflection and stuff, and even just like just thinking about King Boo's voice lines at some point, like Luigi, that kind of stuff, and it just makes me feel like, yeah, I wanna do that. But I wonder if that's because I'm familiar with it. I kind of know where it's going, and in Bug Fables, I don't.
I mean, that's a part of it. It's like, you know how the line's gonna go, you know the delivery and the tone of the scene and everything, so you can play along.
Yeah, the characters. Like, I mean, Bug Fables is where they're wearing the character personalities on its chest, so that helps. But it's weird because like, what was that? There was like one game I played recently where I didn't really read anything, but it felt like, and then looking back on it, it felt kind of stagnant. So I don't want to do that with Bug Fables as well. I don't remember what game that was.
Just to continue on my like light ribbing thing, if like River City Girls didn't have voice acting, you'd have gone doing that, I would probably just quietly turn my headphones off during cutscenes.
No, I probably wouldn't because you're there. That's like different, you know?
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, story isn't really important, you know? In a game like that.
That's it. Just the same. I always said like he looks at when people read things out loud, because now he's looking at the screen. Fair. I'm still not gonna do it for you. My stream is suffering, or my stream is just suffering the screen.
The difference is like, Bug Fables has non-text parts, aka like exploration and battles. It has like, you know, things like VNs and stuff. Don't. I tried.
Oh. I can't really use the fucking stingray right here, I will die. So.
Just watch that. So. Why would you pick that up? Oh my god. Shouldn't use them both at the same time. Moment. Yeah, I'm actually curious how Three Houses will go, because a lot of it, well, that's voice acted, right?
Almost most, fully, well, right? Like muted cutscenes and shit. Probably, I don't think all it is.
More so than Final Fantasy 15, 14. I'd have to imagine. People post clips on Twitter and stuff of like support conversations, and that seems like it's all voice acted.
Yeah,
so
that would all be, yeah. But it's
so
like, you know, talking to them or standing about their place is probably not fun to do.
Yeah, which isn't a problem. Like I can manage that. And I have heard like nothing about the gameplay, and I don't really know anything about Fire Emblem gameplay.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Heroes, which is not a good representation of Fire Emblem gameplay.
It's super light Fire Emblem.
All I know is like you have things where you can revive your teammates even in a permadeath mode, so yeah. Like, I don't know if I want to use that or not. That seems like resin, you know? But if there's a game balanced around that, who knows?
Yeah, usually, yeah. My stream's different because he just started talking with me and Hammer. I mean, that's kind of what I aim for, really. Yeah, come in, like, you know, just chat shit while I'm just working through my backlog. Maybe you'll see something you like, maybe it's something I want to show people, like Deadly Premonition, because it's fucking shit.
Yeah, dude, I can't really think about streaming games I've already played. At least at this point.
You slam through like Mario Sunshine so fast you could probably just do that.
But yeah, that's kind of different. Like, oh, what's something else? All right, Hat in Time. I still have to do Deathwish mode.
What is the Deathwish mode in that actually, anyway?
It's like basically a super hard mission mode. So like,
okay,
the first mission is a mission that's in the game already. Like, you have to turn off lava faucets, but in this one, it's like so hot that you have a time limit. You have like to cool off. You need to find buckets of water, and you know, you set your heat meter there basically.
Right.
And then there's like another one I saw is like do this one mission in as little jumps as possible.
That's funny.
So like you have to kind of exploit how the game works with dives and stuff. And I really haven't seen that much. I'm assuming like the boss fights are just harder.
Probably like do it the Mario Galaxy do it in one hit thing.
Yeah. Stuff like that. And I mean, the first mission is just like that heat one. It's just like it just really wasn't fun. So that's kind of why I stopped. Is that you have to do that one. It starts branching off after that. It's like you have to do that one. But like I do want to sit down and do it at some point because you know I love Hat in Time. My reasoning was like, you know, if it's not fun, I don't really want to ruin Hat in Time for me. But I think at this point, I've already established that I love that game a lot, regardless of what people say about the creator and how shitty the DLC is, you know?
Oh, has the creator been a racist?
Something like that. I don't know. I think because Vinny was talking about he doesn't want to play Bug Fables because apparently the creators are problematic, but I think he was mixing it up with Hat in Time.
Could also been that Heartbeat game because that's a recent one as well.
Yeah,
that was tragic for Hammer, that one, because he really liked that game and he's going like, I'm gonna gift it to you for Christmas so you do it on stream, and then that happened the stream after he said that and I was like, oh.
Well, that's exactly what like at least two of my friends play Hat in Time because of the Jonas drama. I'm just like, no, but it's so good, and it doesn't help that the voice acting director is that Chris Noisy guy or whatever his name is.
Oh, the rapist.
Yeah, at the time he wasn't really problematic. People just didn't like him at the time, but you know, then
in a technical sense, he was at the time.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, like,
yeah.
It's such a good and charming game, and like no matter how many times I see the cutscenes and stuff, I'm always charmed by it, which is wild. You know, I think they wear off. Yeah, so far so good on the streaming thing. We have this solo stream stuff and Final Fantasy, which I might do later today if Evan's down.
Yeah.
And who knows with Final Fantasy at the moment. I'm at least glad I gave it a shot. But I don't know how far I want to continue into it. We'll see. Since now I've reached the actual game apparently, so. And I still have to find a class that I like. It just makes me so sad that the Magic Book class sucks because thematically that's my favorite.
I mean, is it that they suck or is it that they're just hard to use by yourself?
I mean, maybe that's it, but like, you can only do one action per 10 seconds. Is that very fun?
I feel like that's just an MMO thing. And if you already ask, is that very fun? My immediate response would be no. Because it's an MMO.
I have no idea how MMOs played. That South Park episode of World of Warcraft hit, and I tried to ask my mom if she could get it for me, and then she didn't. And then that's pretty much where my MMO experience ended.
It's funny to me that that's like the message you took away from that episode was play World of Warcraft.
I mean, it seemed interesting, like, just how the game worked and stuff, from what I saw in the episode at least, but... Well.
Good. I'll just pause after this run. Oh, he's a god.
What?
This is ridiculous, the amount of shit that's going on here.
It's all the snipers are on the other side, that's the problem. Oh, I screwed myself.
They all keep targeting me.
There's no way. I have grenades, so... Oh, what? Someone lived?
Yep. Yep.
Eggs, I guess.
Sure, we had the Hydra thing, so that person was basically just screwed for hitting shit.
Yeah, high tide on this. I don't know if she left payment for the whole week. Do you think I like memorize this check? Let me get my wallet.
I feel like you probably should.
That's her prerogative, not mine.
Well, you do that. I'm gonna consult Girls Frontline. I've been like flipping back and forth of whether I'm gonna give Arknights a try or not, because like more see and like hear of it, it's like, oh, that's just a tower defense game, that doesn't appeal to me at all, and I might just skip it.
Tower defense games are my thing, but I don't like the little chibi sprites thing. You know, they're ugly.
Yeah, I think I might just forego Arknights, honestly. Which is a shame, because I really like the player character design is great. All the character designs are great and the art's great. But
it's funny, I think the game is about, I mean, I played like the first mission. I think it's about like being an animal girl is like an infection and they're racists who want to kill them. And that's probably what the game's about.
probably. And like Girls Frontline later on just evolves into full tilt, like, you know, stories about the morality and reasoning of AI intermixed with just Metal Gear Solid almost exactly. Which, to be fair, Metal Gear Solid on the whole is kind of the same story as the one about AI reasoning and morality, but you know. Yeah, I might. I'll start either Dragon Ball or Fire Emblem today, and then just flip between them in my off time.
Oh, did you finish the Kingdom Hearts DLC?
Yeah, I like tore my way. I think I played it like 12 hours straight. I tore my way to the final fight, like the secret optional fight, and I don't think I can do it. Like, I just straight up don't think I can do it, because it can just kill me from full with like 3 different attack patterns. The closest I've gotten it is like halfway down its health bar, and then it just activates super mode. And it's like, oh well, I'm just fucked. And one time it activated super mode at the start of the fight for no reason, and it just killed me outright. And I was like, oh good, great. And there is, yeah,
Inner Agent 3. I didn't even bother. Oh crap! I didn't realize that Luke's Switch was on the wrong screen size setting this whole time. There's like black bars on all sides.
Very cinematic view on your stream.
It's hard to see on a monitor because, you know, all the edges are black. So. It's so stupid. Why is that a thing? Just make your TVs the same goddamn size.
Oh, resolution, really. Ooh.
Why am I expecting a call? Like, I should have just not said anything until we were done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be, if I ever do Death Wish, it's gonna be really weird because that text alert is literally the mission start sound.
That's gonna set you off.
Yeah, like I was watching a video stream Majora's Mask banjo mod, and then you know sound effects from that played, and I was like, oh, weird.
Just runs through a line of pickups, and you just go like, oh my god, all of my logistics teams are finished. Yeah, I'm thinking if not, well, maybe not next weekend, it depends if we're doing a big house thing to clean shit up. Clear out, like, under our stairs, we've got loads of garbage. Actually, also next weekend I might be sucked into being social.
I was talking about this with Luke, like, if you have, like, a storage unit, just get rid of it. Like, I know there might be some sentimental value, but if you're only ever going to look at it once every, like, 2 years while you're cleaning stuff, maybe you should just get rid of it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and for decorations, it's like, you really don't need all those decorations. You know? It's okay to not be fully decked out for a holiday. But,
Luke apparently has a storage unit, and then, like,
Luke's
a rent thing. Oh, like, I think they rent and just stash it. And...
I forget what started that conversation. I think it's that scooter that he bought for Pokemon Go, and then he stopped playing Pokemon Go a month after, and then he wants to sell it, and I'm like, you should store it. So you should find some place to store it, because I'm sick of it just being in our living area.
It's just the scooter just there.
Yep.
Of all places.
Because he doesn't want to put it outside, like understandably so.
Alright, fair enough.
I was like, well, don't most people leave it in their garage, which is what the door on our balcony would basically be like?
I mean, who's gonna scale a balcony to get a scooter?
I mean, that's what Luke is like, so he leaves the balcony door open. I'm like, dude, I feel like you should.
I mean, I wouldn't leave it open, but I wouldn't, like, you know, no one's gonna, like, scale out the steel, like, lift your scooter and try and, like, scale back down with a scooter on their back. And just chuck it off, it'll damage the thing. It's kind of like, oh, what was the point?
Yeah, you should advocate for throwing unnecessary things out.
I mean, that's not the issue. The issue is we want to throw them out. It's just, you know, to do that, we have to, like, hire a skip to dump all the shit into. Because in under there is shit like an old freezer unit that we haven't used in years. Like a big box freezer unit I could genuinely climb into and sit down in.
You're strong, right? Just,
I mean,
yeah.
Carry it to where?
The garbage can.
We don't have. That's why we hired the skip, so we have a garbage can that can fit it.
Well, you know, that's good. That's refreshing, you know? And people actually do proper cleaning.
Yeah, because, like, everything under there is, like, old garbage, either stuff that's broken and we're not going to use ever again. We're committed to just getting rid of it. It's just, you know,
when, you know, how.
When, yeah. Like, we had to order the skip, we had to get it, like, probably a Saturday, so I'm not in work, more of it, you know, stuff like that. And there has to be nothing else going on, like, my sister can't want her kids minded for the day, like, yesterday, for instance.
Whoa, no.
You know, stuff like that. And probably, depending on how much shit is there, we might have to, like, drag one of the brothers in to also help, because there's going to be that much shit.
I mean, are you sure you can't just call someone while everyone's home and doing stuff? Because people seem to do that when I'm meant to walk their dog all the time, and I hate it. Like, oh, hey, there's a contractor that's working on the porch.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, over here, like, you know, it's either, like, you live in a housing executive house, so they own it, and they, like, organize that shit for you, and you just have to be there to let the guy in, and if you're not there, the housing executive gets really pissed off with you, or it's just something you're doing yourself. There's no, like, oh, well, we have a whole culture of, like, hiring contractors to do stuff.
Interesting.
You know, it's only when it's stuff like, you know, like plumbing or like electrical engineering stuff you absolutely can't do. Like, that's when you hire someone to do it. But for stuff like, oh, moving stuff or cleaning stuff or gardening, usually a lot of people just press to do it yourself just to save money.
Alright, well, I'm me see if I can change the screen size here. And I'm gonna hit the BRB because you know you go in the Switch's settings and then you can dox yourself. It still hasn't fixed that. Yep, I could have been doxed there.
I feel like it's not their concern, really.
It should be. Like, hello?
Why would it?
Who just leaves the IP address there?
Who's gonna see it?
People!
People who?
They know streamers exist.
Society should not bend its whim around streamers existing.
It's such a simple thing. It's so simple.
Or streamers could just not fiddle with their fucking Switch settings on stream.
Or they could just hide it behind a menu. Or just not show it. Like, how important is that?
Well, probably relatively depending on your networking setup.
Like, it's so funny. Yesterday, a streamer I watched showed his IP address.
Oh dear.
Like, well, time to get doxxed, you know?
I mean, what was the worst that would happen, really?
Someone could use it for anything. I don't really know how doxing or IP addresses are useful or anything like that.
Usually if an IP address, like, narrowing it down to a specific house is pretty much damn near impossible. The closest you can get is, like, a local region or an area.
That's close enough for some people, I imagine. I wouldn't want people with that information.
I mean, yeah, but if they find out, like, oh, you live in this city block, like, what good's that gonna do them, really? Like, people here already know, like, I live in Belfast, for instance, like, kind of like, well, where? It's like,
well, yeah, matter, that's a lot more, broad. Like, some people are afraid to even say their dang real names online. Meanwhile, apparently they put my middle name in the credits for Hat in Time, and I'm like, oh, okay. Not like I haven't talked about that before, but that came as
Why
a
did you
surprise
give them the middle name?
I think it's like the form for Kickstarter asks for the middle name or something, and then they just use that.
I guess all the ones I have use like external form shit for their names, like, you know, they're using like fan gamer surveys and shit, which don't ask for that.
It was like years ago too, so maybe it was another reason. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I did it to distinguish my
probably, actually, yeah.
From everyone else.
How would you know yourself on the pile of other Christmas?
Apparently there are no other Christmas in that, so
that's a bit surprising. I really live in Chris
like,
Brumpus Smith.
It's like, do you want to have your username in quotes in between your name? Like, that seems really stupid to me.
I mean, a lot of them do that. If they don't just give their own usernames directly. It's funny playing like Bloodstained and just seeing, you know, like people who genuinely just have like, you know, usernames like Weed 420 in their names in the credits. It's like, ha.
And then someone with their full name, including their middle name, right after that.
Someone who has like a 5-word name in there, and it's like, god damn.
Although, speaking of revealing yourself on the internet, also, hey Evan, to strangers, I've been juggling around the idea of using a webcam.
Oh yes.
And part of it, like, NL started using a webcam. That didn't really affect me.
And
but
that's
then,
all there was to it. I'm kidding.
No. Well, during his New Year's Showdown stream, Carl had a big face reveal because, like, that was something he kept under wraps a lot.
Oh, okay.
Not to like.
I think you sent me like a stream VOD or clip with him and just had his webcam on, so I just assumed it was just a thing he did.
Yeah, no, that's new, and because he was really nervous about people knowing who he was and stuff, and he decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and he's owning it, by the way. Like, you know, Twitch's point system, where you can like highlight a message or unlock an emote or something.
Yeah.
You can have like custom things. So he has like hydrate as a thing. He has spin in his chair as a thing. Put on a certain hat as a thing. For a lot of points, you can. I forget what the command's called, but like overhydrate him, where he just basically dumps the whole thing of water on himself while trying to drink it all in one big swig. Like he owns it.
Okay.
And that's not what I'm looking for. I think I might do some channel point stuff, but you know me.
I would hope so, because I got 4.9 thousand of the things.
Like I prefer my stream is all about the game, not not really myself. It's just my style. Not like I condemn anyone who does silly things like that or talks about their day, because I find that particularly interesting as well. But I don't know. I do think that I could make it valuable, because a lot of people who have webcams, they just like sit there. Have, like,
you do have a very expressive face, I will say that.
They have like no expressions, no real reactions.
I mean, that's why I wouldn't. Apart from the fact that I just don't want to do it, it's kind of like, now fuck off. Like, you don't need to see my face for this shit. I don't want to show it anyway because I'm not comfortable with that. It's also like I don't react. Like, I'm not a very expressive person, so it would just be me sitting there blank faced unless like something has made me laugh my ass off.
Your voice is symbolic of your face as well.
It just matches is what it is.
Whoa. Yeah, like a lot of times, literally, I'm just listening to the music and I'm just like unconsciously bobbing along with it. I think that'd be good. It's just the problems are like my hair in particular is just bad. And like a lot of times I like to shower at night because like how my job works and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of hard to see that. Maybe like oil on my face, I guess, but mostly the hair is just bedhead all day, and I look like a crack addict. Is basically how I describe it. So I have to figure out something with that. It's like I don't really want to like if I had to shower before every stream, then I would probably never stream. You know?
Yeah.
So that would be a problem. And
yeah, maybe it'll do some good for you.
I mean, it would, but then like at the same time, my face is just terrible. Not like, well, visually, I guess I don't really care for it, but I mean like as far as like oil and stuff.
I mean, in that case, just get like a PS cam that has like a lower resolution, so it's harder to see that.
I mean, not even just that. It's just like, even when I wash my face, oftentimes like I kind of like twitch my face to kind of get more like make it more comfortable. Like, you know, the weird winks and like faces and stuff, and like I feel like I would do that on stream, especially after showering, because apparently I can never find a good face wash and moisturizer set that is just comfortable. I've been trying for years.
Emily says, I usually prefer seeing the whole game without anything in the way. I never understood when people ask for a face cam. Kind of the same way, honestly. The only exception I'll say is someone like Northern Lion, who, you know, I'm not really there for the game half the time, because it's like, oh, he's playing roguelike number 10,000. I don't really care. And I'm mostly just there to hear him, like, fucking make jokes and shit, because he's a very funny guy, and like the face, he is very expressive with his face, so it just kind of adds to it. And he also fucks up a lot, so whenever you see like the recognition of failure in his face, it's just great.
Yeah. He makes the D colon face in real life a lot. It's funny.
Also, he's got cats, so they just walk up and just, you know, like assault his face every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, that's another problem. I posted a poll on Twitter about, like, should I have the webcam on top of the game somewhere at the risk of, like, blocking elements, or should I have, like, a border, like, so the webcam's in one corner and then the game is smaller in another corner, and then there has to be a border, which I think kind of looks ugly. That's how Carl does it. But, like, when I'm watching his streams, I admittedly don't even notice. Like, I'm just pretty much looking at the game or him. So, like, it's probably not as bad as I'm thinking, but at the same time, especially for VODs, that seems like something I'm not really too big on.
Oh, well, shit. I didn't realize everyone else died.
Like, that's something to figure out.
And when we looked up what the Hat in Time dev did, and you can barely find anything about it. There's just a bunch of people saying he doxed and blackmailed people and is a bad person in general. I mean, if there's no definitive proof or anything, it's kind of like, well, is it that he did it, or is it that he did it, or is it that people don't like him for some other reason, or just saying he did it?
I think I read in places like there was evidence.
I would have to see the evidence myself to make that clear.
I mean, you think, you know, since I love the game, I'd take that in open arms, but I'm pretty certain it happened. All right, and like sometimes I don't really have a chat, so if the webcam is covering something, no one would really end up saying anything, and then you know me, I always forget everything. So like, oh, let me turn this up because the song's good, and I forget to turn it down for the rest of the stream. Like I can't trust myself with that. So, but then I have to make a whole overlay for it. Like commission someone for it. I'm like, I don't. Just... It's like it's already hard.
Just do it yourself in MS Paint. It's fine.
But I hate how tacky my like BRB and screen things are. I've been looking for someone to maybe do that, but then I don't want to spend money. It's like it's like the stream's a hobby, but I want to be like professional as well.
This is fine to me because it is a hobby for me, so I just don't have a screen or anything like that. Just like just let the game idle. I don't care. I probably should get one just in case, but yeah. I wouldn't commission anyone for it though. It would just be like a black screen saying BRB. Fuck off.
You should get one for when you go in your Switch settings, though.
I mean, for that I just black the screen before doing anything. Basically, anytime I have to leave the current game to do something, I just black the screen and then go about doing it.
This is weird. Like, it's like one of the things where it's like, you know, everyone's like, oh, I have no self-worth, but I clearly have some form of self-worth if I don't want to play a game without having like it recorded and like.
I mean, evidently, yeah.
And stuff.
Somewhat aggravating as that is when I'm like trying to get you to play things. I have self-worth because I have something of an ego, and that whenever someone tries to say I'm bad at something, even if I've already said it myself, I will just immediately turn and go like, oi. I get to say it, you do not. Is this high tide or medium tide? It's medium tide, isn't it?
I don't know. If it's high tide, I'm dead.
Medium tide. Alright.
It's kind of weird that just my brain kind of internalizes it in that fraction of a second that I look at it and then knows what to do while I'm talking about something else entirely.
That's the thing. You just need to like replace Salmon or whatever fucking game you want for these things, and then you'll just get good at it just to the sheer number and then we'll do.
Like what? A fighting game?
You could be playing your fucking Crash Team Racing right now.
Well, that's the thing. I actually said that during the stream where I'm like, you know, at the moment I'm kind of talking about stuff and not really thinking about the game, and I'm doing pretty well.
Well, there you go. Like, just do the same thing here. And that's what, like, well, a lot of like competitive players and shit. Unless the other one, like the way they insane ones, it gets like fucking screaming when they lose.
Well, see, that's kind of the thing. I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could, you know, I could have done that with Mario Kart, but then I get like really salty in Mario Kart. Things don't go my way. Like the thing about Mario Kart 8 is you can pretty much prevent all item things by, you know, being in first at the beginning of the game, and then, you know, you'll always have a defensive item to drag behind you unless you get points for times in a row. Not the case in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, by the way, in case you were wondering.
I feel like that's kind of better in that sense, though.
But yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a better, like, game for, like, crazy fun stuff, but as far as, like, actually playing it and, you know, feeling like you're skilled in the game, which, you know, haha, skill in Mario Kart XD, what? It's true, though. It's a thing. I had it. With tilt controls, no less.
I would argue you still do have it, you just haven't adapted to the new environment.
No, I do have it, but you literally can't do anything against at least 3 times as much lightning bolts, more red shells, you know. It's harder to maintain first. Like, Mario Kart 8 was mostly about good driving, and CTR is about that, but obviously it's a lot harder to do in that game. You gotta keep blue fire and stuff. If you touch a wall, you're dead. You might as well just be in 8th place online. That's the thing about CTR. It would take so much to get good first before you can even play online.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, you do it for these things and you just combine the two and then it won't matter. Then you will get good as you just bark about it.
Well, what are you getting CTR then?
I'm not going to, fuck off.
Well, then what's the point of doing this if we aren't playing the same game?
And you thought Carl and the player Monster Hunter would ever just do the same thing.
What does that even mean?
Get Kevin to do it. What? No, I mean like, no, like wrangle someone else to do it. Have 2 podcasts.
You're talking about replacing Salmon, so... What about this? Because, I mean, the idea interests me. If you didn't have to buy CTR...
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to play CTR.
Why not?
Kart racing things are not my thing, I don't like them.
Why not?
Me and Mario Kart have parted ways ages ago, I just don't like them, I don't gel with them.
Remember when you got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because you're like, I can play it with Chris, and then because
yeah, and then
I didn't play it.
Yeah, and also like you and David are both like 200cc god champions. I haven't played since Mario Kart Wii, so it's kind of like let's play online like right now. It's like oh okay, and I had nothing and got shit stomped into the ground, and all the rest of it. And then yeah, you then refused, and then you hated it, refused to play it anymore. It's like oh well, okay, and then I sold
it. It's either, like, the thing with playing games with friends is it's either, you know, everyone goes in blind, or at least one person is extremely proficient at it. That's how they know they like it and want their friends to play it. But then as a result, they kind of alienate their friends by being so good.
Yeah.
Rust is an example. Yeah, going back to the webcam, the thing about it is I'm gonna get, I have like mounts. This is a whole process. Mounts for monitors now. So I'm gonna have 3 monitors all mounted to the thing. I can't have a webcam now because my monitor is currently too low. It's either you're getting like a top-down view of me if I clip it to the top of the monitor.
That would actually be funny.
Or just like a shot of my chest if I clip it to the bottom of the monitor upside down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a mount. Hopefully raise it up high enough so that clipping it to the bottom will be enough to see my face properly, and then go from there. I should just ask Carl how he does it, like, because I really have no idea how these people set up their webcams, but...
Welcome back, remember?
That might be a whole project, or I might just forgo it entirely, who knows?
Just like, you know, screw it into your ceiling and just have it like, you know, viewing you from like an oblique angle. Like get avant-garde with your webcam.
Still isn't bad.
Set up your point system with an array of cameras so that people can change which camera is currently active whenever you... I'm surprised no one's done that yet, actually.
That's something Carl would do. I'm gonna bring that up. Actually, that's too expensive. He's like, for like $100 I'll buy a webcam for dog cam, and then Nove did it. So it would probably be quite a ways away. Like I could wall mount monitors, but like I'm an idiot who always wants the monitor to be facing away from the door.
I mean that just comes with living in a overly American Christian household, I think. I mean, I remember you telling me that your mom like opened your mail for me, and I was like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
That is the rage.
It's like Luke doesn't give a shit about that. He told me he bought something indecent recently. Like, we don't give a crap, but it's just something that maybe is a holdover or just something that's more comfortable. I also kind of like seeing outside the door as well. Being up against a wall, I haven't had that in like eons.
I've been desk in this room for 2 monitors, so one went to the third one, so a big empty wall in the right spot. I have a big empty wall, but it's kind of like, if I'm going to want like a TV on there, for instance, I'm going to have to wait till I swap TVs. Because changing TV standards and shit.
Maybe you should learn an anti-gravity technique so that you can utilize that space.
Normally played a porn game. Congrats. What porn game, if I may ask?
I will show you.
It's a game of the heart. Satan is in the room. He said, "I'll go to hell for playing the porn game."
The main character has a heart disease.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Did you?
Yeah. That's Cosmo.
All I remember about that game is that, the bad ending, which I got, and Lemon Lube. I don't know anything about Lemon Lube, just that it was a meme.
I remember several of these about that game. Like one where it was like, oh, because it's a game made by people who run 4chan, that's where they got the idea. It's like, oh, it'll be this really sweet and loving game until the porn scenes now turn into like hideous gore scat shit. It's like, fuck.
I don't know how photogenic I am, besides the hair stuff. But,
I mean, from your past, like the times you did it in the past, like it looked all fine, I'd say.
Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not afraid to show who I am because I've done it before. Like, remember just that Mario Kart 8 stream where I just had a face cam out of literally nowhere?
Yeah.
for the tilt controls. That was kind of my stance. It's like I'll use a webcam for a game that
Just to prove that you're doing the tilt controls thing, yeah.
like, because you know when I use tilt controls, it's funny, it's wild. I like sometimes turn my whole body, so I figured that would add to the experience. It'd be like if I'd never do Ring Fit, which would probably be a bad idea. Like that would be another game that would actually get something from the webcam.
Yeah.
But it's like a routine game, you know. It's like why I don't stream mobile games, because that's just like a thing you do every so often, you know.
Yeah, like for Girls Frontline, I mean, just like stream events. I wanted to stream like all of Singularity, but at the time I was also kind of like, stream darn tournament. I'm not sure if how much I want to do these. So I only did like the first 2 hours of it. I might swing around again and like actually do all of Continuing Turbulence when that hits.
I'm almost certain I was going to sacrifice myself.
And the other one is like build streams, because I don't care about like, you know, doing that as a rolling stream thing, because it doesn't cost me any money. So I wouldn't do that for like, you know, like gacha games that do cost money or whatever, but for this one it's like it just doesn't cost me shit, so off we go.
It costs me shit. That's for sure.
So after a certain point you just kind of hit a critical mass where you can never run out. Like I have not fallen below like 170,000 manpower, because you just can't spend manpower that fast.
But I was thinking about, it's like you and Dragalia, where, you know, struggling in the beginning, but then like I've since broken that point, so I'm like, I don't really know, man. I'm in that beginner struggling point.
You kind of are, because basically around until like you can start consistently doing like chapter 7 like tier stuff by yourself, like you are basically in the beginning. Around the point you unlock RO, and you can start fielding multiple like big echelons. Like that's the point where like you're in mid game.
It's Final Fantasy 15, where the real game starts 12 hours in.
Final Fantasy 15 starts like
14.
I was gonna say, like, what are you talking about? It's like, Final Fantasy 15 starts like when it starts.
The real game never starts. Because it's just driving.
I really liked that. That's another one where I'm kind of debating if you should do that on stream, because like one of the reasons I really loved that game was just letting the driving happen and just like toddling off and just watching it from on the TV while I was like writing shit and watching shit, other shit, or like doing stuff on Twitter or whatever. It's fucking great.
That's what mobile games are for.
Yeah, that's not quite the same thing.
Games with bite-sized gameplay. Not really. Final Fantasy 15, I imagine.
No, but that's kind of why it was great, because like every so often you just have like I'm done with my quest in this area, it's time for like a 5-minute ride while I go keep all my shit sorted while they're just drifting along talking shit in their car. It's like, oh, this is just a very relaxed game.
I guess that explains why you love No More Heroes so much.
It's the thing of like, I don't mind a game being meticulous or very involving if it hits a certain note and the way hard does things. In some ways, I feel like a level of meticulous fuck about is actually good for a game.
Okay, slow down, partner.
I mean, it's the thing of like I've noticed like especially this weird thing I've noticed is especially like American streamers especially get really fucking upset if they die and have to redo even like a second of stuff. Like they get extremely upset about it. Like I've always noticed it. It's always like fucking American streamers who get the most upset about it. And it's like
I will admit that's my knee-jerk reaction.
I don't know. It's just kind of like fucking chill out. Like it's literally nothing. Or like literally it's like this is playing the game. Why like a game can't like a game just being at 100% all the time like fucking just like fucking automated like movement, a fucking like automated belt, just keeping you pumping through new content all the time forever isn't good. Like that's just kind of shit and bad. That's why you get like linear corridor shooter crap, where it's just like it's just constantly new thing all the time. In a constant straight line. It's kind of like this is kind of fucking boring if I'm not like languishing in the world or taking things in a bit. Why I'm really taken by games like Resident Evil, where it's just like, this thing loops around on itself and it redefines how you know and like explore your environment with each new step. It's like, that's good shit.
Like I love the grind of learning and beating bosses, but part of my brain is always like I never expect to die. So then when I do die, I'm like, what?
It's funny.
Like you could probably go back in any stream where I had hardship.
I did notice it a lot in Nier. I will say that.
Well, Nier's different because Nier was
Nier is in this case it's not different.
Like in iteration that also doesn't calculate it up on it, and it's actually bad. But like any streamer, I kind of had a hardship with a boss or something. You can see me immediately go like, what the heck, what, and then like at the end, I'm like, that was pretty good, that was satisfying. Like,
I've noticed that sort of thing. It's kind of like, are you fucking kidding me? Not what you usually like just streamers.
I mean, I have self-awareness at the end for sure. I'm like kind of embarrassed when I realized that I took it at face value like that. And that's all that matters. Not really. Then that moment is forever immortalized.
Also, yes, hello, Hammer, by the way. I didn't need to say it. Hammer's reminded of his experience with Souls bosses.
Well, the thing about Dark Souls is I would expect to die. Like, I know that game is just grinding.
It's not grinding.
Oh, River City Girls is kind of a good... Well, not really. Sometimes. It's a good example of that. Because the bosses in River City Girls were just bad. But, like, sometimes it was satisfying. And now that's not the best example. Those bosses are really bad. I put that in my review, right?
I think I forgot to for mine, but I prefer like I didn't mind so much, honestly. Like on the replay, stuff like Yamada, and like after like the first boss, whatever her name is, she was fucking hard until I realized the whole like, oh, this is what wall jumping is for. It's luring her to the pillar and jumping off of it.
And even then,
she's doing a charge. And then it just becomes like actually a fairly simple fight.
Right, yeah.
And, like the rooftop guy Yamada, like he's also like a pretty simple fight. You just stay on him and just keep punching the shit out of him. Haven't played like to like the later bosses. I just played like halfway to get like a feel for the controls and shit on Switch.
I still feel bad for that buff guy or whatever because that boss was just like I didn't even really, yeah, I didn't really learn anything. I just learned how to exploit him.
I mean, I still learning something. Oh fuck me then. Oh, fuck off. Revived and then immediately kicked into the water during my resurrection animation.
You know, like a... Damn it! I know how many eggs we had by the time I went in. There's one thing I want to touch on about. It's funny, like...
Yep.
Only until, like, yesterday did I realize, wait, I'm supposed to be, like, recording points of interest to talk about during Salmon Run again. It's like a lost art. So I'm like, what happened? What happened throughout the day? I had, yeah, the stream stuff. I'm like, I could talk about that forever, so that's good. But, I'm like, what else is there? That's like, oh yeah, Nintendo, apparently Nintendo was sued for not allowing pre-orders, or not allowing refunds on digital pre-orders.
Yes.
And then they won against that. And it's like, wow, that's a pretty bad stance to take, Nintendo. And then, you know, brings up the whole, like, other than that just being a shitty thing to do to your customers, it really just brings up the whole thing of, like, why do digital pre-orders even exist?
Never do digital.
Like,
Just in general, not just pre-orders. Never do digital.
I guess, like,
if you have no... Yeah.
Like, the only thing I can think of is preloading the game if you have really shitty internet and it's a 80 gigabyte game and you want to play it immediately. But even then,
you'll start it up and it's like, oh, here's your 80 gigabyte day one patch because we just went gold before the game was actually finished because we had to meet a deranged, unhealthy release schedule. That's not Nintendo specific.
You live in an era where, like, either you're gonna play. I guess it's like you're gonna play a game anyway, regardless, or
or there's so much shit it doesn't matter.
You're gonna wait for what people say. So I guess but even then, like, if you're gonna get regardless, you might as well, like, what do you gain by digitally pre-ordering it? Unless it's Paper Mario Color Splash, where you can preload the game and then they unlock the entire thing like 2 weeks early.
I mean, like, David occasionally, like, digitally pre-orders, and as far as I understand, it's literally just to start playing it at midnight. Which he does even on work days, because he's a fucking lunatic.
But, like, I mean, is his internet not that good?
No, his internet is great. It's far better than mine. He just does it anyway because he's impatient.
It's like, can't you start it at midnight 15?
I mean, over here it's usually like it cracks on at midnight.
No, I mean, like, wait 15 minutes at most to download the game, and then...
yeah. Like... I mean, really, yes, you could, but... Also, that is the point, like, why pre-order at all. Like, the only really reason to pre-order be like... is it like a game that won't have a very big print run? Is it like some, like, little obscure thing? Is it a limited edition that you're really taking with for a game or series you love, and that's going to be hard to get a hold of? Like, pre-order them, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's like pre-orders exist for physical games. That's where they came from. Like,
yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
To make sure you got a version of the game because stock is limited,
Yeah.
So you pre-order it to have a copy saved for you.
It's also like from stores and stuff. It's like over here, like, you know, the Belfast game isn't gonna stock like fucking like. Okay, I lie because they actually do stock Salmon Caviar, but for instance, they wouldn't do that unless someone was like, you know, went in like, hey, can you bring this in, like a sort of library thing, like I want a copy of this, can you order one in?
Yeah,
And then
that's like
that's your pre-order.
that's local game stores around
Yeah.
here, where you like have to say, hey, I'm on. Wait, can you guys order No More Heroes or something? Well,
Yeah.
that one doesn't work, but because these guys like only get games that are traded in, you know. Like if it wasn't traded in and it's an old game, oh shit.
It's an eBay scalper for.
Yep. I mean, I got No More Heroes 2 for $50, which is fine. I won my first bid in my life, I feel like. And no one even contested. I was like, all right, I'm gonna bid $5 more than the current bid, like in case people are waiting until the last second as well, and then you know gonna throw in a few dollars to ensure they win. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on top. No one even bid in the last in the last like hour, so it was all for nothing. But it's like whatever. I hate bidding, I really do. But everyone was selling it for $60. I'm like, that's fine, because like a new game costs $60, and for all intents and purposes, this is a new game. You know, never played it before. It's basically like buying a new game, so you know, no harm done, even if it's old. But I think that's just kind of my my bad ideology with spending money. I'm like, you know, price doesn't matter too much if I need it. I think like it's just like you never know what's gonna happen, so why pre-order digitally?
No, digitally never. Like as I said, like even for like you know like physical pre-orders, it's always like, is this like a game that will have like a low print run because it's from a small publisher or whatever? Like it's an obscure like you know Japanese import or whatever. By all means, it has to have like a limited edition you really want. That's probably gonna have like you know very limited stock. Okay, sure, by all means. But like anything else, like just fucking buy it. Like don't pre-order. And, like some people might argue shit like, oh, you know, if I could order it from an online store, like I've done it for like certain things where it's like, just let me have this show up at my house while I'm at work if it's in like a midweek release for shit like you know like that's kind of like I would do it for that sort of thing, but even then it's like well, you don't, strictly speaking you don't have to. I could have just walked to like game and gotten it that same day, on release day.
About that. Like it's kind of hard for me to even understand pre-orders because, as mentioned earlier, I don't really get too excited for games, and even when there's a new game, I tend to wait anyway.
Sometimes for me, it's a matter of just like, well, if I don't do it, David will tell me the entire game within the first day if he gets it
Yeah,
first.
you kind
So
like you need some stressor to like get you to actually start a game. That's kind of how it is with me a lot of the time.
and that was the kind of what was the great thing about Death Stranding was it turned up a day before. I was like, that's great. That means I can start, and David can't tell me the entire first 5 hours. Instead, I will tell him the first 5 hours. Haha.
Hey, friends and problems. Now we're just doing our own thing. I wish there was like a room code or something now.
Would be handier.
Like, I think I complained about it around when Luigi's Mansion 3 came out. It's like this world where everything has a share button and everyone wants to have their rewarding or funny moments encapsulated and shown to everyone. It's like you gotta play a game immediately, or they're you're just gonna be spoiled.
I mean, for me, it depends on the game. Like, I'll do it for stuff where like my own immediate friend circle. If I someone we're both like me and immediate friend circle like really interested in like Death Stranding, I will get in ASAP. It's like you know, it's not something like that. It's kind of like whatever. But I don't really follow people who like. It's kind of funny, but I generally don't follow people who play most of the same things I do anyway. So
It's like no one really spoils much with Three Houses. Maybe just like a little thing in a support scene that I'm gonna forget. or
Mm.
what, like something that's obvious. I think the biggest spoiler came from fucking Sakurai, you know, like the place where you would not expect that to happen, except not really, because you know, my man spoils Mother 3 in World of Light and spoiled a bunch of stuff in you.
I mean, he spoiled like bits of Mother 3 and like Brawl.
Yeah, it's just like, why? Just don't. Just stop.
The one thing I'm surprised didn't go spoiled was like fucking Metal Gear Solid got away and like no spoilers in World of Light. I'm genuinely surprised by that. That's a series that's actually comically easy to spoil.
I don't know if it's just, I mean, I feel like I've been spoiled by that series a lot, but I just never comprehend it because
You probably have,
like,
but it's one of those ones where like,
to me, you know?
it's one of those ones where you need the context, otherwise you won't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I know one spoiler because of a personality test.
Dare I ask what?
I got
Actually,
Big Boss.
don't. Okay, well, don't say any more because I just realized like I'm not really playing those games.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna spoil it anyway.
I can sort of fathom where that goes, but
didn't I talk about this before? It's like because I got him in a personality test, it's like and now I put some importance on him, so that spoiler is actually gonna stick with me forever.
I mean, he is an important figure. He's like literally the
well, he's the
villain,
big boss, but
he's the villain of the first 2 games.
Like everyone's important in that series as far as I know. So
more or less. Smash Ultimate. That's right. Smash Ultimate did spoil that thing with Castlevania Area of Sorrow. Really, in a really like a way that's actually like hyper cheeky as well. It's like what a certain soul evolved into is like oh that's just a fucking spoiler now.
Yeah, a lot of soul evolution spoil a lot of things.
There's a massive crippling Xenoblade one.
Yep.
Which is also tragic because the soul evolves into is super good.
I've since forgotten about it, thankfully, because that remake is coming out.
Oh god, that definitive edition we get looks so good. Like it looks fucking gorgeous. I should make my next stream game is Xenoblade 2, even though I don't intend to stream it just to fuck with you.
What? Because I'm playing Fire Emblem?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the problem with games that neither of us have played, right? Like, but I mean, you're less likely to stream it, but like, one of us is gonna have to stream it first, you know? Someone's gonna have to be left out of the live stream thing, so. Who hates Xenoblade Chronicles? Very, very curious.
Why does he hate it?
Like, I think he said the combat is like.
Oh, it's too big for him.
No, it's just like that. It's like passive, I believe, is the thing.
Okay, so it's too big for him, alright.
He doesn't care for that. And I'm like, okay, you're probably not gonna like yokai.
I mean, there is that bit, yeah, Hammer. You could just play it in your own time and then stream it, which is what I've done for a number of things.
Yeah, no, see, but my whole thing is I like having the first reactions on film, so that's not an option for me. I mean, with how long these streams are, I might as well do films. Oh!
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I am gonna bump Fire Emblem up though and get to that anyways, just in case inadvertently you say anything or whatever.
I think I'm pretty good about that.
For the most part, yeah, but everyone has mistakes.
Like, the only thing I spoiled in Pokemon Sun and Moon was something that I thought was fan art, and obviously isn't that big of a deal anyway, but that's really funny to me.
I mean, you did, like, reveal shit about, like, for instance, like, post-game costumes and other shit from Pokemon Sword and fan art you were sending to me, and it's kind of like, why would you do it? Characters or shit for no reason, then it dies.
I intentionally didn't with Marnie, so I was aware of that one at least. Do you think fan artists like rush games all the time so they
Yes.
can do that on like day one? Like they
There's
just
there's absolutely some mutants who do exactly that, just for like the the clout their audience or whatever the fuck. Like anytime there's like the question of do you think, that's like yes. The answer is always yes.
Do you think fan artists? Yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Just inherently, that's just the way humans are. Like, do you think there's a person out there who like stuffs dildos with his own feces? Yes. Just yes. There is always at least one. It's like like Gavin's principle of humanity. There is always one.
How are we on time?
Dinner hasn't even been started here, so it's running later than I expected, so I can just keep bumbling.
Okay. Because I wanted to talk about a video I retweeted this morning.
I don't think I've seen it.
CGP Grey posted a video about New Year's resolutions. I thought was interesting. Like, normally he's like an information kind of guy, like an educational streamer.
Based on the one video you sent to me, him before trying to scaremonger about how you have a separate human inside your brain, I'm gonna doubt on that whole science thing, but sure.
No, that's like a metaphor. Like, and then the Troubles was like a monster.
Yeah, that was funny, but he also didn't get into the thick of it. That was really funny.
He does a lot of or at least kind of did a lot of stuff on governments and voting and why daylight savings is a thing and daylight saving. I mean, and all that stuff. But he's kind of like now doing more like kind of helpful videos, So like, he had a video about like the 5 best things you can do to be a sad person. So, which is like obviously just kind of a reverse on like what you should do to be happy. And then like literally in the video he's like he kind of screws up the thing. He's like, no wait, actually you shouldn't do that. Right. But this video is about New Year's resolutions, and the whole thing about New Year's resolutions is they never work out. They're like basically pointless, right? In fact, I feel like we talked about that at some point.
Probably.
Or it's just like you're never gonna actually do it. It just kind of adds stress to you. So this video basically, is like that, and then how instead of a New Year's resolution, you should just kind of have a theme for the year. Not like I'm gonna do this, like I'm gonna do more exercise, or I'm gonna like, read a book a week or something like that.
Yeah.
But just have, like a theme for the year, like the theme of
self-improvement.
Yeah, the theme, like this is the year of health, the year of thing like. It's actually like really interesting. Like I'm like, you know what? This actually. I
feel like that would benefit, especially someone like you, with like your obsessive thing and all. It would be easier to register stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like because he talks about like there's doing it and not doing it, and that's bad for the brain because when you don't do it, it's like a big old failure. But then if you kind of set a theme, there's no specific like goal. Yeah, like the goal isn't specific. It's very, amorphous and stuff. So you can make little changes to your life, and that is like enough.
Apply agile sprint methodology to your life.
What?
It's software joke.
Okay.
It's a shitty methodology. It sucks ass, but everyone's like, "Oh, it's good." Though it's like, no, it's not. Fuck off. Functionally no different from just doing the thing as is. It's just a lot more hassle and a lot more time spent in meetings that are pointless from staring at the 4 fucking walls, listening to some people whack off about points. Yeah, every fucking 2 weeks we just have to take the entirety of Wednesday to talk about it. It's like, or I could use Wednesday to just work. Then I wouldn't have to go to Dublin every 2 weeks. Anyway.
Hey Gavin, calm down. But no one killed us?
Hit this shit. we're not going over the next 2 weeks because the project manager decided he's got enough of seeing the testers' faces in person. So that's good at least. It's a bit unfortunate.
I think it's a very healthy mindset to have, and I wanted to bring it up because, you know, anything that like I think is just like good advice for life. It's something I want to spread around, like bidets. It's such a weird topic, but like it's just such a life improvement, you know, for $30. I just would be remiss not to at least recommend it. And if people don't use it, then like, what can I do? It's like their bathroom time, right? Like, doesn't affect me at all.
No, that clearly means you need to start a whole movement about being like anti-bidet, and like how the anti-bideters need to be murdered and removed, and like pass laws against not having bidets.
Is this a Northern Ireland politics thing that you're?
Nah, it's just a general like people like like anti-gay campaigner joke.
Oh, I see.
Things that don't matter to you at all, but you have to get in a massive uproar about it. You gotta control it. You gotta do everything about it.
So I'm curious. Did you actually have any New Year's resolutions? Even like none that you actually like said, but kind of thought.
Nah.
Like, you know, it'd be nice if I did this year.
I guess kind of it's just the recurring one of there is like okay, not exactly a New Year's resolution, but it's like a note to self like start your Japanese study again and like try completing like a fully written story project thing or something. Start doing just basically like, start doing something to enrich yourself basically.
The year of enrichment.
Basically, the year of like social like not social but like the year of self-improvement or self-enrichment. It's also why I wanted to start seeing like more films at like the local indie theater. They're like, hey, these are a wider variety of different stories and emotional experiences apart from just glorified action movies. I mean, there's plenty of those too there. God bless Indonesian cinema, but you know, still.
Very vague, which is good. Because like every year I'm like, you know, I want to stream. I want to like consistently stream. Yeah. But like that's very specific, and like I don't think there's a way you can set that to a theme, because it's either you stream or you don't. You know.
Then like the year of being more productive or more, you know, either the year of creative output. How you choose to define your creative output goal can just be as flexible depending on what you've done and what you think you can do.
I mean, maybe like the thing is, it's like, you know, playing games and watching anime are like, you know, pastimes. They aren't actually useful or anything, but in my brain,
I would debate that.
That's the thing. Like in my brain, it's like I'm enriching myself. I'm like, I am making myself more cultured in a way.
Yeah,
I hate
basically.
using that word. But,
and also, like a lot of
like,
depending on the video game, you can develop skills through them. You know?
Yeah, I'm never gonna do that, as mentioned before. But you know, it's good to be in the know with people because
it's like as silly as it sounds, like genuinely part of the reason I was like better at history than like a lot of my people in my class was like in secondary school I played a fuck ton of Assassin's Creed, which just has massive lore pages that are basically scanned from Wikipedia about historical things.
I just kind of remember them.
I just remember them. It's like, yeah, just, you know, his thing in English, like it briefly mentions a certain type of Italian art. It's like, yeah, that's like this type of bronze making pottery thing. And it's like, and you see, like, how the fuck do you know that? And I was like, video games.
They can be educational without being educational.
I had a my mom liked the crow about this one was like when I was in like primary 1 and they're judging our reading age. I had like the reading age of a kid like 5 or 6 years older than me in primary 1. And she's like, the teacher's like, how the hell? And it's like, well, it's a mix of he loves reading like, you know, these little collector manual things on, well, not manual, like magazine things on dinosaurs, and also plays a lot of video games which have a lot of reading in them. It's like, by the time I was like 7 and 8, I was playing stuff like Final Fantasy. And that camera makes a really good point there, like, hey, video games literally taught him how to speak English.
Yeah.
Or read English or whatever. Also, the Kingdom Hearts DLC stream will be down the line. I'll eat it because by the nature of it being very boss fight heavy, I want to get a bit of distance after having just done it.
So you can forget that.
Kind of. And that'll probably be like, you know, I'll probably fit that in before I go into like stuff like Hitman and Luigi's Mansion because it'll be relatively short.
Right, kind of like a one-off, almost.
It's a bit too long for a one-off, but you could swing it for like, you know, 2 streams basically, maybe 3.
Yeah. It's like weird every every time I think like I don't know, was it last year or the year before where I was just nailing it. I was like my stream schedule was like I was like a professional streamer like I did for my job. I was doing it like every day. Like
I think it was last year because I remember you were slamming out like, you know, Persona and fucking Pikmin and all the rest of it, like reliability, like every like 2 days, every 3 days, every day sometimes.
yeah, and then you know around the middle of the year it just stopped. And I always think about that moment and I'm like I just want to do that again.
I think
you know?
cosmically that was the point where my own schedule actually sped up and I began doing it every
Yeah.
2 days.
I promise you they're not related. It's not like I was like,
You
oh,
weren't
I'm not
watching
gonna
them,
stream
so
because...
yeah.
yeah. Like I'm not gonna stream because Gavin's streaming because a lot of time it just didn't line up.
And I'm like turning mine down to like only like 1 or 2 a week. So
And now I'm gonna turn them up maybe. Yeah, it's like something about that CTR stream. It just awoken something in me that like it's kind of missing. Because admittedly, I was like
probably because it's a game you're passionate about. Is the thing.
Maybe it's like the few days or even like week before that, I was actually starting to get like depressed over like just not doing anything. And, like but then when you're depressed, you can't just do it, you know?
Yeah. That's the therein lies the rub.
So then I just kind of did CTR, and then it's like, oh yeah, you know, I never really forgot, but like I really truly remembered the joy of just streaming because it's like I'm like a lot of times I was like, oh, I'm like too hungry or like I'm like feeling too cold, like I'm shivering. But then it's like when you're streaming, it's like you kind of just forget your physical form to word it as weirdly as possible. You're just kind of like in the game and you're just talking, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of just had to realize that again. And then like all these excuses, they don't hold up because of that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? You just those excuses you make to just kind of lie around. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever
Maybe like
neurological reason underneath.
Maybe a week or so of that was because of Girls Frontline, but that was like
just stream Girls Frontline. I do.
I'm not just streaming Girls Frontline. I refuse. Besides,
incidentally, guys, I'm going to be streaming Continuing Turbulence this time in a month. Hope you're ready for 6 streams out of that. It'll probably be like 3, maybe.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I can take this and run with it. Maybe not for the rest of the year. Like another thing in that video is like, maybe don't make it a yearly thing because a year is an extremely long time. You know, like you never really think about how long a year is. Like to consistently do something
stuff
for a
happens
year.
in a year. Yeah.
It's like, you know, if you were like, okay, I'm gonna try to learn Japanese for a year or something, then it's like, okay, that might be too much. So like, he's like, maybe you should do seasons. You know, seasons are a perfect package of time. You know, just a few months, stuff like that, and then you probably take what you learn from that thing and maybe like incorporate it in your life anyway, so then you can pivot to something else.
Yeah.
And get more done in a way. So like things like streaming, and I want to watch more anime as well because we do that together, and we've been slacking for sure. But it is kind of like a mix of like obviously Gavin has to be available and not going to bed or working. And it has to line up with like streams. A lot of times I'm like, I have to choose between do I want to stream or do I want to watch anime.
Like, it's like, do I want to stream, watch anime, or do any of the other pile of things?
Yeah.
The one there's working a 9 to 5, and I just want to say that anyone who has ever in their life opposed like a 32-hour work week will get my fucking knife between the ribs one day. One day.
It's like, the thing about choosing between the stream and anime is, as mentioned before, they're both, they're both useful, because it's like I'm either learning, or I'm like experiencing a new game, or I'm experiencing a new show. Like, not that different, other than like for the enjoyment of others. Streaming does that, but like there are those two, and then I think I'm getting healthier. So
that's good.
As far as themes go, it's like I haven't been exercising, but there are plenty of other things you can do about your health, like dieting.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I'm like I'm a fat piece of shit and I don't exercise. I have better cholesterol than anyone else in my office.
Yep, I actually have bad cholesterol. I have to, like, my blood sample came back, and like you have high cholesterol.
I have fucking like 4.0 cholesterol. It's like, yeah, boy. So you get when you just eat fucking like loads of peppers and onions and tomatoes.
Yeah, it's like people usually think like, oh, you have to like stop eating all your crap food and like start eating salads or food you don't like.
You know, it's always a balance, or just find and do things you like.
Like, I'm basically, the way I'm doing it is I'm trying to replace things steadily. So my breakfast has been like just 2 Pop-Tarts and 2 granola bars for the longest time, because that's just what fills me up until lunch. And obviously that's really bad for you. So then I got the suggestion to go back to oatmeal, which
that's a really good choice.
Turned out to be just as filling and like half the calories, and it's just healthier for you in general. So, now I'm kind of on that.
I never tried that actually.
It's good.
I usually just eat like just cereal or toast.
Yeah, I used to eat oatmeal all the time. That's good. The thing is, like, my big problem with dieting and stuff is it takes a lot for me to not be hungry, and crappy foods like
I feel like that's an American thing. Just the portion size shit.
Yeah, but we're already here. It's too late to be like, oh, yeah, that's what you get for eating or whatever. But like, because I don't think shrinking your stomach is a thing. I looked it up. I'm like, I'd be willing to do that, but then
it actually kind of is though, because isn't that how like like weight reduction surgeries for like extremely obese people work? Is that you have to like stop eating as much so your stomach begins to shrink in size again?
Yeah, but I'm not extremely obese.
You're not, but I'm pretty sure like it is a thing that the theory is there. You know what I mean?
Like, from a normal person standpoint, it seems like it's not conceivable. So I'm like, I'm like thinking about my food, and I've changed breakfast. I need to change lunch because I eat half a pound of meat and then a side. Like, it's just a half a pound of meat, which is ridiculous.
Is that
isn't
for lunch?
enough. Yeah, that's for lunch.
That's kind of hectic.
And then dinner is like, I don't even know where dinner is. I'm getting HelloFresh now, so we'll see how that goes. But
what's HelloFresh?
It's a meal delivery service where they deliver the ingredients and you cook it yourself, which I'm not.
Fair enough. That seems like a good way of learning how to cook.
Yeah, there's that, and then also like I had a previous meal service, which I think is local, so I don't want to say the name, but it was like pre-prepared food, which sounds weird because that's what prepared means, but prepared food. But it's just like a lot of the sides are just not my thing. Like, it's kind of the thing with like dieting. I just don't like a lot of vegetables. And I've tried like a bunch of seafood. It all like this sounds like an idiot thing to say, but it all tastes the same to me, and that taste isn't very good. So
like, find a place that like supplies like varieties of like crab from around Britain. So it's kind of like I should try some crab meat. Spook my mom by just like cracking little crab claws out of her when she comes in the door.
Isn't crab meat expensive though?
Not really. Like, I don't know. It's like for a pint of it or whatever. On the site I was looking at, it's like £5, which is like that's roughly in line with what you pay for like beef and stuff.
Maybe it's because you live on an island.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. We have like a severe fishing industry. Like, it is literally selling like crabs from like the UK's own fisheries. So yes, welcome back, Anomaly. The thing we're talking about learning English from games is like just mentioning that you can learn skills and be culturally enriched by media, especially like games.
It's not useless, yeah, or like something like that.
Yeah, and you can take something away from pretty much any media because it's, you know, it's something someone made for a reason. There are things you can learn from it. Maybe it's just hard to do media in certain ways, maybe it's like certain life lessons, maybe it's like actual technical skills.
Yeah, maybe by the end, like, I might see a dietitian and just ask them because they seem like someone who would know healthy food that would fill.
I would hope so, given that's their job.
That like fill me up in my very specific, huge way. You know, like they would know a healthier equivalent to half a pound of meat, and then like some granola bars or something.
Honestly,
you know?
it's probably less the weight of it and more what kind of meat you're eating. Like very lean meats would be actually very good to have a lot of.
Maybe it's like deli meat. It's like I probably could order specific things at the deli.
Basically, you know, like don't eat like pig and cow so much. Eat stuff like, you know, like chicken or like fish or fucking kangaroo, which is actually extremely lean meat.
Oh no, here we go. I should have known I was leading to this.
I mean, I'm just saying examples.
Well, didn't we? Yeah, we talked about this like on our own. And kangaroo meat is like $60 for like a little thing.
Yeah, over there, like it's insane. Like here, it's still pricey, but not insanely so.
Canada has a ban on it.
That's
had a ban.
really weird.
Not Canada, sorry, California.
Yeah, that was really weird. There's a study showing that our generation is the best surgeons because of games, because games train finger dexterity. Ooh, that's a fun one. That actually makes a lot of sense too. Well,
correlation doesn't equal causation.
Sometimes it can.
Yeah,
I mean, it does kind of hold. Cause like, I worked a customer service job where it was like a web, you know, like a web like, chat agent. Like among the people who I was like in training with, they did like a little like speed test for typing thing, just to try and get people up to like a basic of like 40 words per minute typing speed to be like, you know, responsive enough for customers. And it's just like I was the only one there who like actively played video games and typed on a keyboard and shit. So like I like ran laps around everyone else's scores, basically. And, like the skill, like it does train a skill, finger dexterity at least.
May or may not be a keyboard thing, because I play plenty of games, but as a result of typing with my 2 index fingers, I cannot type quickly at all. It's like impossible.
You can actually count, like, because I type with 2 fingers and I still get to a word per minute of 105.
Wow, someone else like me. Who would have thought? It's kind of like how I'm like, oh, I never learned how to ride a bike. I must be the laughing stock of everyone. Then everyone's like, I never learned how to ride a bike. And then some people are like, I never learned how to swim. And I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah, it's like, it's not like these are not like universal experiences. Every time there's one where he just types too fast and doesn't check his thing. Yeah, it's just how it goes. Yeah, it's that whole, you know, that meme thing that was kicking about for a bit, where like your experiences are not universal. Well, yeah, that's just how that is. And people just need to realize it.
Here we go. What could this possibly be?
Is that a call or a message?
No, that's a message.
Okay.
It's really long, so I don't miss it. I see it's still going. I think might be not be picking it up.
Yeah, it's not.
Just a bunch of ticking noises. This was a bad idea.
I finally set up my new phone. I just have to put like wallpapers and shit into it. Ghost Frontline's Android client is distinctly worse than the iOS one.
Yeah.
Doesn't
you
run
have to turn off high FPS mode.
In my case, I had to turn it on.
Oh, well, mine just sucks.
It actually did, on top of just like looking a bit weird compared to the iPad one, it also did just ran like worse in low FPS mode, which was baffling, but there you go. I don't know, I guess like China just has a higher preference for iOS stuff or something. I feel like you could be a bit louder. That's probably because I'm sitting relatively to the mic, I don't know.
Are we winning? I haven't been paying attention to the game.
Not really. Speaking of. Alright, well, work your mouth. Oh, he figured it out.
Yeah, like, puzzles are all about making tiny pivots, so
It's a bit better.
Pivots.
I'm also just kind of speaking a bit lower in general, probably just so I'm not like shouting over Chris.
It's low over here. That's that one.
Just, you know, doing crowd control because help. I always mumble anyway, that's true.
I actually don't know where this one could be. This is weird.
It better work it out.
Yep. So I gotta change my diet. Not even like to anything particularly healthy. Like I'm not going on a vegan diet, that's for sure. Just like stuff that's less unhealthy, and then I'm sure my metabolism will take care of the rest.
it should, unless you have a problem, basically.
And then I also might get a recumbent bike for the apartment, because that's what I kind of want for Christmas, and that never happened.
What's a recumbent bike?
It's like, you know, those bikes, like not the ones that you sit up on like an actual bike, but the ones where you sit down in kind of like a chair and then
oh right
do that. Because those are quiet enough for a second-story apartment building.
Fair enough.
Apparently, because I would get an elliptical, but no.
I would get an elliptical if we had any fucking space for it in the house when I wasn't using it. I guess that's something that clearing out underneath the stairs could help with, but...
Yeah, put it under the stairs.
Oh, we don't have enough room to, like... I guess it's to store it when it's not in use, yeah, we could just stash it under there. But... I would also only basically be able to use it in, like, the kitchen. So...
There's a problem with going to the gym, just in general, obviously, but then it's cold out, and I'm an idiot who doesn't want to use the changing room. I just kind of want to get in and go, instead of, like, put on pants, bring shorts, go to the changing room.
Yeah, I get that. So like that's fussing about. You know.
It's like sometimes it's just an extra step that will stop you from doing something entirely. That you know, and like a lot of people are just like, well, then just don't be like that. But a lot of times it's more helpful to find a solution that incorporates that.
Wear your regular heavy shit and say it's weighted training clothes.
Then I'll just be uncomfortable during the workout. I'm not like a sweatshirt while jogging kind of guy.
I think I would be if I wanted to know fat shit.
It's like it's too cold to do that, and I haven't really tried heating in my car because I've never used the air conditioning because gas money. I guess I'm paranoid about that, but maybe I could do that. But then it's also like I want to go when it's not crowded, and the only time that's convenient is when it's about to close.
My issue is basically just I work 9 to 5, so it's finding time.
Yeah,
it's
always and everything else you want to do.
Yeah, time.
Like, what do I want to do? Play the
thing.
Kingdom Hearts DLC or go exercise? Well, I could go, a day or two without exercising and do this instead, and then you do that with everything else and then never exercise. That's how it goes.
But then it's also like if I don't do this now, it will never be done because something else will happen, and etc. etc.
Yeah, it's like, and exercising is just a constant, So what's more important, this thing that needs to be done now or exercising, which isn't gonna do anything unless I do it for months,
Mamley always had skin problems and recently stopped drinking carbonated water, and his skin immediately got better, even though he read online that carbonation having any effect in the body is a myth. His body doesn't take it in. I mean, it might just be like other shit in the water then, because it's not just like the carbonization process will usually involve pumping some extra other shit in it. It could have been specific stuff in it that was fucking with you. Hell, maybe that's like part of your skin problems. Chris, is something you're eating is just fucking with you and you don't realize it.
I mean, maybe like people say dairy, but it's like
nah.
That's like impossible to give up. Like I know humans probably aren't even supposed to eat dairy. Like it's like
I mean, humans are
nuts,
omnivores. You can just eat whatever the fuck you want.
Well, yeah, but like scientists and stuff say that like humans probably aren't even meant to eat peanuts or whatever, given how many people have allergies to them. We just do it.
I mean, there's also like a thing of like stuff like peppers and all. Like they taste very spicy because it's especially a poison to stop their predators from eating them, and then we eat them for that anyway.
Yeah.
Like we're just fucking weird as a species.
Like plenty of people are lactose intolerant, which is where that idea kind of comes from as well.
But that's also like, isn't that also like partially a culture thing? Like cultures where dairy has been a long-standing practice just have that far less.
Maybe. It's like it's impossible to cut dairy out. Like it's like I've stopped eating yogurt. That hasn't really helped.
I mean, yogurt's like generally okay or even good for you.
Yeah.
Depends on the yogurt, but yeah.
It's like cheese is in everything. That's good. Like
That's not good.
I can't go without cheese, and then I need milk for my oatmeal.
That's
I don't
fucking,
drink milk. But...
As someone who hates cheese, that's a bizarre thing to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, surely you're at least aware how prevalent cheese is in everything, right?
Not in everything, but in a decent number of things.
Like in a whole lot of things.
Like it's like, oh yeah, I do. Like I kind of like it's a thing I talked about in my own streams at some point. Like, just people is like knock to someone I know in real life. It's just like finding a place for like a cheeseless pizza, and they know a place, and it's kind of like, oh, I should do that at some point to see what it's like. Which might also just be a vegan pizza, and that's kind of where we start having issues. It's like, well, no, I still want to eat like the meat and shit.
Yeah.
I just don't want the cheese bit.
It's like, please don't make it all or nothing.
I'm not sure I really want like any fucking weird cheese substitute either. Just like come up with like the same sort of thing, but with like the cheese aspect, if you will.
It's like maybe for lunch something that was recommended was a veggie burger or something.
Those can be quite nice. I had a Mexican one of those, and it was just like a big pile of like peppers and chili and shit. It's like, oh, this is actually fucking heavenly.
I gotta get Goop to figure out what indoor grill is best.
For some reason, I thought you were about to say indoor plumbing. I don't know why.
So we can't even have an outdoor grill anywhere.
But is cheese with pizza even pizza?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that, and then Gavin was gonna go on a whole thing, so I didn't even bother.
I wasn't going to. I'd be like, well, I presume so. I don't know. I'm not an Italian. I can't like speak from a cultural level what like pizza should be.
Wow, we're in like around 500, so we are actually doing really well. We are winning. Bad.
I remember watching this whole video about a guy showing how he made like a wheel of cheese. He's a guy like a cheesemonger. He just makes cheeses. He opened the video by saying hello curd nerds, and that made me laugh my ass off. And it was a fascinating process, and it's kind of like, I actually wouldn't mind trying to make it. I wouldn't eat it. I would give it to someone else, but I'd actually, like, making it seems like a fascinating process.
I love stupid names for communities. Like, just recently, the restaurant chain, fast food restaurant chain, Carl's Jr.?
Yeah.
So, I think it was like a kind of a just thing chat came up with on its like collectively, where we just like Carl's followers be Carl's Juniors. Some people in the community hate it, and I think it's the funniest thing in the world.
It depends how you use it. If he opens every stream by going like "Hello, Juniors," then we start having issues.
He does not acknowledge it. Other than like in jokes and stuff.
I probably would open every stream going "Hello, Juniors" if that was the case.
Yeah. It's like you have has to be like something like that, you know, like something self-aware, or that seems self-aware enough. It's like, you know, remember the lion pride for Northern Lion?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of turned into a joke because of up, down, to the side, but it's like something like that seems like cheesy.
Yeah.
Funny, whatever. You gotta make sure you don't have something like that. Otherwise, you just kind of look like
hello,
what's
my
the word?
fellow belts. But... what would be your fandom community name?
See, that's the thing. I was like thinking about it for a second. I'm like, I'm sure there's like nothing good. I'd have to look at like.
Hello, Christians.
What am I trying to say? Just a list of Christmas-related words, and then go from there. But that would be stupid, you know.
Yesterday, Hammer ate a pizza with caramelized onion.
I hate onions. I hate caramelized onions.
Onions are incredibly good for you. I know.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it a problem? Isn't it a big old problem that I've experienced? Like, it's not like I. It's not like I condemn these foods. In fact, I wish I liked them, but I just don't. You know. It's like Brussels sprouts are amazing. I try them like, it's like, what the heck? I'm like, yeah, I wish I liked it.
I love Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts to me, I just don't have a flavor. It's like, oh, that's just water. Maybe you need to like put stuff on it, like a flavor editor or something. But
like Luke, he's not an official chef, but he does cooking more or less for a living, and he had Brussels sprouts that he did, and I didn't get to try them. He's like, you should have tried them. Like that's where you probably like them.
there's a point, like, if you just keep eating it, you might eventually just develop a taste for it anyway.
That's what I've been trying to do. It's really hard. Like
I'm saying weird American fast food has trained him into disliking good stuff.
So I mean that. Well, I guess Wawa counts, but
it does count.
Don't
like lie to yourself.
That much fast food.
First step to solving a problem is admitting it exists.
It's like the only times I eat Wawa anyway are like when Luke and I are driving to our friend's place, and you know, we can't really make dinner because we only have a finite amount of time, and when I'm getting gas because it's right there, so I just coordinate it.
Apparently, according to Hammer, it's not even a case of might, it's just how the body works. You will eventually just develop a taste and start liking it if you just keep at it long enough. Presumably it's an adaptation thing, basically.
I think I kind of did that with mashed potatoes, but it turned out to be pointless because at least the ones I was eating are like pretty bad for you because they're high in calories and they don't fill me up at all. So like it's a double whammy.
That's very weird because potatoes are very filling.
I think it's like foods that are just calories don't fill me up. Like cereal doesn't fill me up at all. I might as well just eat nothing, you know?
I'm starting to think that's like weird American cereal
or
thing.
Carbs, maybe. Is it calories or carbs? They're all like the same.
Carbohydrates. Yeah.
So like, you know, gotta stop eating the mashed potatoes, and that's like half of the sides and those other prepared meals. So like, It might take me the whole year, but I'm hope by the end of the year I have just a diet sorted, and then maybe if I have a bike that'll help, because it's like it'll be right there, and it's not like, oh, you know, I can only exercise for like 20 minutes. It's not worth the trip to the gym. Like it's right there, you know. So there's nothing to be not worth it.
Hello, Hikami tea, by the way. Cereal's a bad breakfast option. You're better off a slice of toast. It's surprising how filling toast can be. I'll just eat 3 slices then, I don't know. I really do think it's just a matter of just adapting to less. American portion sizes are just fucking stupid. So, you know.
I should actually just schedule this dietitian appointment for like tomorrow. It's like a free consultation, you know?
Is it? Oh, hell.
Part of it is like meeting up with someone, like a new kind of doctor thing, but not like This is like a doctor you have to talk to. It's not like, here, we're gonna take your measurements and blood and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, is there a doctor you don't have to talk to? That's
ask general questions, you know.
Fuck me. Just wanted to goddamn anything.
Like, that's fine by me, but this is like a more personal kind of thing, you know? It's like when like getting a therapist for the first time.
It's a difficult thing, yeah. Don't worry, I hate being American. I feel like that's better off for you, really.
Oh, wait, free, I didn't even realize.
Hey.
It's a year of streaming and anime, dieting, and weight loss, and or something else. Oh yeah, getting a new job.
Really, just mark it under the year of self-improvement.
More or less. Like, I've been doing this. Well, you can have multiple themes in a year, I guess. But
you can. Like any good
this,
media product, multiple themes is key.
I had this job for 4 years, so I only get paid like 70%, and I asked for a raise, and I didn't get it. Like, we'll give you more jobs, and then they didn't, because they hoard all the jobs so that they can retire sooner. So I'm just helping them retire.
That's a hell of a cycle.
That realization made me really upset with the job, more so than usual, with the driving and the fear of doing something wrong and being berated by a dog owner. It's just like, it sucks, but then, you know, getting a job in retail, I would rather die than do that.
That's kind of funny, because, like, you think there'd be, like, a lot of fear about, like, you know, like, if you, like, fucking stuff up if you're doing, like, software engineering, but, like, between versioning software and also just needing to actively fuck up to actually destroy anything, it is kind of relaxed in that regard. The flip side is that, you know, the grind never ends.
And you have to learn about computers, which is, I think, beyond my mental capacity. Well, you can learn anything if you put enough thought into it, but every single time
it's not even that. It's just, I feel like most of the time it's actually a framing thing. 'Cause a lot of it is just like, essentially just logic puzzles more than anything.
I guess I never really tried programming, but every time I'm like, yeah, I could try it, see if that's the career path for me.
One day I will just run mediocre and teaches cunts how to Java program, or how to, like, code in Perl, and then we'll be off.
I mean, maybe, because every time I hear about programming classes, they always seem like shit. Like,
that is,
just don't know what they're doing.
Hammer also has it exactly right. It's logic puzzles and looking shit up online. That's basically exactly it. I'm not even kidding. The engineer of like 10 years is sitting next to me every time they'll just go like, is that for something worse? And just immediately on the Google. Like, there's no fucking about it, just look it up.
That's how I resolve all my computer issues. So.
I mean, that's how you do it. Like, you look it up. Someone else is bound to have done the same thing somewhere, or something close enough that you can just like hack it together. Oh, fuck me then.
Just that Google isn't gonna help you as far as physical computer things.
That's what YouTube's for.
But even then, you still have to do it yourself.
Well, yeah, but you know, that's how working works.
whenever I did this hard drive thing, I'm like, this thing's gonna break. I'm gonna zap it.
It's kind of the thing where like it's hard to like judge that just through a picture as well. So anyone you were just sending a picture to, it's kind of like, well, do they have it in their hands?
Andy, man, like, who does everything? Like, even if it's just
Luke would make a good husband one day.
Yeah, no.
Filthy weed smoker.
I'm so bad at that shit.
It's all a learning process. Yeah, I doubted my ability to actually like take part in like, you know, software engineering projects and shit because of the way university was teaching, and then I actually got into the field. It's like, oh, this is just actually very natural and easy. And now it's like, oh hey, it's just fucking second nature now. Now I am the guy who they keep sticking like new people onto, and I'm kind of like, what are you trying to tell me? Is it just that no one else wants to like teach these people, or is it just you think I do it? Because I'm not even the newest guy on the team anymore, and yet they still get sent to me.
It's like committing to learning when you aren't sure you're gonna like it, especially when money's involved or your parents' money. You know, you think like, oh, your parents' money, that's fine, but not for me.
No, I absolutely do not think that. That's just me, I guess.
I feel really guilty whenever my parents have to pay for me.
Same, basically.
For dinner, but you know.
Even that, even for like stuff like food. Programming is an important skill to have. For games with like learning like the logic of programming, ones I've heard are actually good fits are the Zachtronic games. Like even just like Shenzhen IO, which is like literally just off-brand assembly programming, which I'm actually very curious about trying.
I hate those games, so that's not a good sign. Like, I thought you were gonna say Space Cam, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, you know, Space Cam is one of those Zachtronic games, so. And it is actually kind of that thing, isn't it? Or just, it's programming logic. Well, the sort of logic you would need for, like, programming your own shit.
And games that are literally just programming, but then they have, like, a skin of something.
I don't think World of Goo guys made that. Zachtronics are a different set, aren't they?
Command these people using and/or statements. And I'm like, you're not doing that. It's just programming.
Yeah, Hammer points out like Human Resource Machine is apparently a good one.
I think that's the one I'm talking about. Actually.
Is it? Oh shit!
I don't know. It sounds familiar. That's all I have to go off.
It's by the World of Goo devs. That helps.
I think that might be it then. Yeah.
One day I'll just have a stream where I just half-assedly try and teach it to whoever's watching.
Exapunks.
Exapunks. I haven't heard of that one.
I haven't either.
That'd be one to look into. I'm trying so hard to get this person. Oh shit.
That's a miss.
Barely a game layer abstracting it. Well, there you go. Also, yes, he did say that was by the World of Goo guys, remember?
Got back up here.
It all depends on. I think like part of it is just it depends on how you're taught more than anything. People crack wise with like it's the hello world thing, and that is a good way of getting the extreme basics across. Especially in like a language like Perl, where it's like instead of like like different data types for everything, it's like you have a scalar, you have an array, and a hash. Get going. That just fits out as a one size fits all.
You know what I never realized? The HD rumble makes the sound of the egg, like the egg sound when you pop it in. It's plop.
Never noticed that. I don't think.
Like, yeah, because you're listening to the game and me, right? I just now heard it. And I'm like, wow. HD Rumble is really cool. I wish more things used it.
Evan saying, you write lines of commands and move little robots as a representation of hacking, and the commands are its own simplified language. I'll give that one a look and all. It's the closest one to raw programming. Which is kind of funny, because isn't like Shenzhen IO like literally just programming? You're literally coding things? Unless you mean like it's just actually closer than its little abstraction of fake assembly or whatever. Which is fair enough.
I guess for this job thing, I'm taking the last of those editing certificate classes this spring. So regardless of if they're in. Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, regardless of if they're in Center City or not this time, then I'll just do it. And then, like in the first class, like you had a whole portion of the lesson devoted to being like, okay, here are a bunch of like organizations that take in editors like to work for them and stuff. I'm like, maybe once I get the certificate, I'll actually just try hitting that up. I'm not too confident in my ability to edit. I feel like that requires some self-confidence, you know?
When you say editing, is it like copy editing, or is it like video editing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Copy editing.
Okay. And yeah, like organizations and companies of all sorts need copy editors for goddamn everything. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's a useful skill, and it's one I'm actually interested in. I think proficient at.
Mm.
So that's kind of where that comes from. And then if that doesn't really work out, I'm interested in, of all things, being a pastry chef. Maybe it's like, you know how we're talking about like you need to learn something.
Yeah.
It's like that's one thing that I'm actually interested in learning, and I feel like since I have like never felt that before in my life, I should probably latch onto that.
You should probably follow it through, yeah.
Yeah, even though it seems kind of stupid to me.
No, not at all. Like you're like doing that thing where a lot of people do. Where it's like, well, it's not like a fucking STEM job, so you know.
Exactly.
Fuck off of that.
Also, it's like I can't cook anything at all, but that's what the class is for.
Like even as important as programmers are to like making a lot of things in the world work, like I am secondary just a plumber in terms of like actual day-to-day needs of society. Stuff like that, you know, like that's not like a hard, grungy job you have to like learn the whole STEM degree for. Like you just something you learn by doing. And people are like, oh well, it's not great, so it's like, yeah, but it's fucking necessary and pays often better. I feel like all society needs these jobs. None of it's stupid unless, you know, it's a politician. Oh.
It's just like apparently, I mean, I don't know how stressful kitchen environments are, but
Oh, it depends on the kitchen.
yeah, I imagine they are. So that's something else I have to overcome. But it's funny. The first class in the program at this college is like sanitation and stuff.
Yeah.
And Luke calls me a germaphobe, so I think
probably
I'm
that down
on that one, you know. My short-term memory is so bad. I'm often like I leave the sink and then I go into my room. Like this happened this morning even. And I'm like, did I wash my hands? Like, did I actually do that? And then I wash it again. It's like,
I mean, that's good. You won't be getting any coronavirus.
I mean, I haven't gotten the flu, so I mean, I got the shot, but even then, like, shots aren't like, you know, like you're basically not gonna get it. There's like a
it's an id, yeah. It's not a guarantee. It's an id. Like, it will help significantly and likely will keep you from getting it, but it's no guarantee.
Everyone's been getting the flu. I don't know if it's been happening over there, but over here, like...
It has its seasons. Like, ours more or less has passed. Kami is allergic to the flu shot. Oof.
Oh, yeah. In that case, you can't really do anything, huh?
Oop. Ah, fuck off. Oop.
I'm glad I don't get sick at all. So, like, call me a germaphobe all you want. It works.
It works, and it's better for him.
The only time it's not better for you is in the winter when you get dry hands from using too much soap.
Never had that concern, I don't think. My life is one of, like, I avoided basically every single, like, physical and, like, mental, major serious, like, illness or injury that everyone else seems to have, or condition or whatever. But then I get the ones, like, well, periodically your armpits and upper thighs will just produce these giant lumps of pus. Now, there's nothing you can do about that, you just have to live with it. It's like, oh, good. Fantastic.
I'm eating! I'm eating!
So that's the sole extent of, like, my issues, essentially. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, your body just occasionally just produces big balls of shite. Oh well. Is it dangerous? No. Can I do anything about it? No. Like, does washing more help? No. Is taking this medicine help? Temporarily. It's like, oh, okay. Hammer's allergic to 3 different types of dust mite. That's not arcane monks, you can't even fucking see those things.
I don't think I have any allergies, thankfully.
I am allergic to, like, some very specific form of bath salt, I forget which.
It's not true. I have a tomato seed intolerance. I don't know if it's an allergy, but
Is that like an actual medical intolerance, or you just don't like them?
it's like if I eat tomato seeds, I get a stomachache that reminds me of appendicitis. So
Okay,
I think it's an allergy.
that's probably something like actual concrete, yeah.
Like I have to be really careful with chunks of tomatoes.
Now you said that, I remember like your nose just produces too much snot every once in a while. I'm starting to wonder, what if I have something like that, and that's why I'm just fucking like packed most of the time.
It's always worth bringing up with your doctor.
Maybe.
I wasn't gonna bring up acne with my doctor. Then he's like, you know, like I could just give you meds for that.
Yeah, just creams with that shit. Yeah.
I'm just like, man, it's like you're supposed to eat it with nothing, but when I have it with nothing, it gives me a really bad stomachache that makes me feel like I'm gonna throw up. So I'm just like, well, that sucks because I can only eat it like once I eat, and then if I forget and I only remember a few hours later, then that's kind of unfortunate, isn't it?
I mean, meds, maybe not like consumable meds. Well, I think you said it was a consumable med, but like,
yeah.
That's kind of curious. I've only ever heard of like, you know, creams and, you know, stuff you rub on yourself, on the acne itself to get rid of it.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's like a capsule med for everything.
Probably is, to be fair. Fucking hate capsule meds.
Why?
Can't swallow them. It's a
Really?
fucking struggle every time.
I mean, I was like that when I was a kid.
No,
So
like, it's like I try to do it and my
the
throat just like locks up. It's like, nah, not happening. It's not getting down there.
Get out! I took the chewable meds as a kid, and those always tasted so disgusting, and I regret it.
I would take that for well over, just because at least I could actually take the damn thing then. It's always held. Like, that's why, like, stuff like, you know, stuff that's like, you know, like a tablet that melts in water or like dissolves in your mouth. I think that's fucking weird. I can take those just fine. I don't even care about flavor. I'll just tank it. I'll probably have to guzzle water after if it's really bad, but otherwise I'll just tank it. It's fine. But, you know,
Curious where this is going, Evan.
I take medicine in a funny way. Off the bomb. A suppository. Jesus.
It's funny, I'm like not afraid of needles, I'm just afraid if it's done wrong. You know, like, oh, we have to put it in again.
That happened to me when I had like you know, get my appendix out, and they're kind of like, you know, kept poking it into me, like, we can't find the goddamn thing. It's like, please stop, this hurts. My mom straight up objected to them doing it. She's like, stop doing that. Like, I swear to God, stop doing it.
Oh.
Pills against acne are not unusual. They have pretty extreme side effects, so I never took them as a teenager. Fair. I guess
yeah, it's like, don't be in the sun when that's the side effect for mine.
That, what?
Like, I think you're more prone to sunburn or something because obviously it does something to your skin.
Fuck, that's weird. This pill for acne temporarily turns you into a vampire.
So I couldn't do it because I got prescribed it right before I went to Hawaii. So I was like, you know what, let's just not.
Yeah, that would probably not be a good idea. Take a sip and hold it in my mouth, then toss the pill in and swallow. It says the pill's never even there. That's my funny medicine way. I've heard of ones like that and tried it. Doesn't work. The throat just locks tight. It's like, nah, nothing gets through. I feel that in the mouth.
I kind of want to try to do it that way just to see how it feels.
The best I've managed is just like fucking wedge it in a big clump of bread and just try and suck it down the throat.
What are you, a dog?
Basically.
You want some peanut butter around it, buddy?
Yeah, I don't think I'd like that. I've never tried peanut butter, but I don't think I'd like it.
Peanut butter tastes good, it's too inconvenient to eat. It gums up your mouth, and even water doesn't fix it most of the time. So like it has to be like peanut butter flavored stuff. But peanut butter straight, like peanut butter jelly sandwich. Well, believe it or not, I never really tried jelly, so.
Jelly feels weird to eat. I've never been too fussed on like jelly flavors, but it just feels weird to eat. Remember when I was pricked twice because the nurse thought I was a lefty since I wore my watch on the right? That's cosmic.
Like the nurse asked if I would prefer it in the left or right hand. I'm like, I don't know. She's like, are you left-handed or right-handed? I'm like, right-handed. And she's like, all right, put it in this one. But then I'm like, I don't know.
Did you put it in the right then or the left?
I'm like, do I want it in the dominant hand instead? Because like I'll take it better. And
I feel like you would if it's the dominant hand. Something just makes me think that. Oh fuck off.
What?
There's a tiny little git in the way that binds the grenade back.
Uh-huh. I literally never use these. I'm like, I should save it for when I
There's
need it.
no point to save it, just use it.
Alright. Anything else you want to talk about? Did you have anything?
Not really. Like the only other thing that really happened over the past week is like I watched 1917, which it could be talked about, but
I think my mom is planning to watch that. And I'm like, yeah, Gavin actually recommended it. She's like, what?
it's really good. It's like an incredibly well shot, well directed, and well performed World War I movie, and like all good World War I movies, it harrowed my soul and left me feeling emotional and somewhat distressed, and made me reflect on the privilege of living in this era. And then I went home and watched an anime about a MILF.
Assuming you don't have the thing.
No.
We'll wait on that one.
I wasn't actually watching it that night, but it's that Okasan Online one.
Don't you love your mom and her two-hit target?
Yeah, that's the light novel titles.
It's
a
a
two-hit multi-target.
It has to have a title that's a sentence.
It has a title that's the length of the entire book. I still want to know how that came to be a trend.
What was the first one to do it? It must have been a popular anime.
Don't know, honestly. Probably was. It's probably like a novel specifically. It was probably like before the advent of like regular like adaptations of them.
Remember, the anime never comes first. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of like movies where just adapt, like more often than not, big movies just are adaptations of stuff from other mediums. Video games, comics, novels.
Like Marvel's probably the closest to that, huh?
It's just all comics.
Like, it's so funny, like over here, like there's a TV show or a cartoon, and someone just has an idea, pitches it to a network, and then it's a show now, you know?
I mean, I don't think it happens that easily, but it's like there are plenty of like original anime and stuff, it's just you know, the logistics of making them. It's a very expensive thing to make. Even like your average, like, I think it was like the average 12 episode one is like, you know, come around to like $1 million, I think it was, to actually produce, and that might even just been like per episode basis sometimes.
Why not just use 3D CG for the entire thing?
Yeah. Berserk 2019 or 17 or whatever the fuck, that definitely didn't go wrong.
Jacari 5. it weird how we can like top score like this without even paying attention?
Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily top scoring.
It's like 34 eggs. And the last one was like also 34 eggs.
Oh, well, fair enough.
And who knows what the other one before it was.
It's all a delicate balance. We did get shit stomped a few times. Yeah, like 1917 is really good. I'm going to see Weathering with You in the same cinema, the local indie theater at my university. It's really nice cinema. The seats are great and the screen's great. It's a very comfy place.
Ours is playing in an indie theater as well.
And I'm gonna go see after that. Like, Noct actually is said like she has a spare ticket to go see the rerun of Spirited Away in a cinema in town. So I'm gonna do that on Friday.
When's Weathering with You?
Thursday. And that would be great. And then there's like Parasite in early February or something, which is also at the indie theater. There's a lot of good stuff about. Alright, I should go collect the rewards actually. Not that it fucking matters, but I might as well. Yeah. That's pretty much it. The only other thing is, like, I have a 10/10 post I'll just dump after this. With the acknowledgement that it's based off of the stress test beta, which I basically use like a demo, but I feel like I could reasonably extrapolate a number of things and criticisms about it from that. Especially how close it was to the actual early access release.
Well, they added in playing with friends for the release, so that's good. This is the only part that actually requires attention.
Yeah. And I guess the only other thing is, like, you know, what will we do? I'll deal with my fucking, like, Remind post, and then next stream will be... I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two.
Don't ask me when my next stream is. Although, actually, I think I can say that. Let's see what Evan said. Sounds good. So, I'm
Later
gonna get
today.
lunch. I'm gonna get lunch and then play some Final Fantasy with Evan again, and hopefully get a Chocobo. That's my goal for this stream.
Fair enough.
And,
My next stream will be more Cosmic Star Airline.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I just happen to keep missing them.
It's a Chrono Trigger-like game by Zeboid Games. Make regular little RPG things, and it's really good.
Oh wait, that's the game with the normal as dude punching a dragon, right? And it
Yeah.
looks like Final Fantasy where they're all standing on the wrong side of the screen and
Chrono Trigger,
very
but
small.
yes.
It's actually funny. I think today the theme of today, not really the theme of this year, but the theme of today is streaming with friends, because I have this, then Final Fantasy with Evan, and then Monster Hunter with Carl and Kevin. And I guess everybody's golf, I think we're doing as well.
Reminds me, I should go punch to get that special KM out and punch to the start of Monster Hunter to prepare for that.
Yeah, you should tell me if it works. And then I haven't, speaking of not pre-ordering games digitally, I haven't even bought Iceborne yet, so kind of glad I didn't if it turns out to be shit. Chocobo's a bit off, but we're gonna have to chunk away at it.
I'll just wake up in the morning, you're still streaming it. Oh, there we go, that's time. That's my dinner ready, so...
Well, perfect.
Alright.
We'll see you next week, hopefully. I almost forgot this week, so we gotta make it a regular thing. Gotta keep me honest, because these are fun.
It'll be like Friday, Saturday, or Sundays usually, because that's the best days for it.
It's like I woke up with nothing to talk about, and then we ended up talking for 3 hours, so that's not really a concern.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you. I have to go get dinner. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out all. And I will see you Tuesday or Wednesday for Cosmic Star Heroine. See you. Heroine, girl, whatever. See you.